Bing bong, baby, bing bong. Let's go. Let's get it. Rocking and damn well rolling. Hey guys, how you going? So today on BKRsport, we are live as the Cronulla Sharks are going to be taking on the Newcastle Knights here in a really big game. And today is a really big day actually for the top eight and the teams that are chasing the top eight as well. In the likes of the Storm, but the Storm have just bucket loads of players out, man. Like they're going to find it tough against the Roosters later on tonight. But this game here is literally between 4th and 5th. So whoever wins this game will be in the top 4 by the end of the round. Whoever loses it, well, there's still no guarantee that they're in the top 8. So there's a top 4 spot on the line, but there's also a top 8 spot still on the line here because there is no chance that either of these teams will drop out of the 8 here today unless, well, there is actually, no, there's not. No, there's not technically a chance of that happening, but there is a chance of a team going all the way down into 8th position. Yeah, that is a good chance, maybe more so for the Knights rather than the Sharks. There's a lot going on here. So let's get into it. Obviously, we've got this game, then we've got the Roosters versus the Storm game later on today. But like I said, this is a massive one where both teams are aiming to get into the top 4. So do me a favor, go and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new around here, and let's rock and roll. So the Sharkies, their 4th position, go up against the Knights, who are in 5th position. This is at Ocean Protect Stadium in Sydney, which is Sharky Park. The ins for Cronulla, Britton Okora and Samuel Stone Street, with the outs being Jesse Ramian and Sifa Talakai. The fullback is William Kennedy, with the wingers being Sione Katoa and Ronaldo Molatalo. Centers of Kale Iro and Weni Hiroti. Go to the 5'8", Braden Trindle, with the halfback being Nico Hines. Front row forwards are Adam Fanor-Blake and Thomas Hazelton, with the number 9 being Blake Brayley, who is the captain. You go to the back row, Britton Okora and Teague Wilton, with the 13 being Cameron McInnes. And the interchanges, Howepa Peru, Billy Burns, Oregon Kafusi, Tukahau Tapua, Samuel Stone Street, Jaden Beryl, and Craig Fitzgibbon. Sharkies, obviously, they are going to miss a guy like Jesse Ramian and Talakai off the bench. Talakai is going to the Perth Bears next year when they come into the competition. But with that being said, they're coming off the back of an absolutely massive win, which took them straight off of scam and put them into a really nice winner's circle because they won that game over the Dolphins 66-0. 66-0. And now the Dolphins had a couple of players out due to origin/injury. Actually, no, just due to injury or resting a guy like Hamiso. But that is no excuse for losing 66-0. Right? So the Sharkies winning that game was absolutely gigantic because they opened up a wound and a hole in the Dolphins system that we've seen for a couple of years now where they don't finish off seasons too well. So the Sharks had a great win there. They won okay against the Broncos week prior, 28-16. There was a bye, and then they obviously lost to the Roosters 27-8. Did beat the Warriors 10-8. Did beat the Dragons 34-12. Did beat Manly 28-22. Did beat the Bulldogs 38-16. Then you go back to the 36-12 loss to the Rabbitohs, where you go and see the big win, 52-10 over the Tigers, but also lost to the Cowboys 46-34 and the Roosters 34-22. But then you go and see them win against the Warriors, 36-22. This Sharks team is very difficult to read because whilst they had an unbelievable win last week, like that was exceptional. The way they played, if they play like that for the rest of the season, they will win this competition, especially with the Panthers slipping up right now. Like this is a very important game for both these two teams as well because with the Panthers slipping up, well, the Knights, if they win, they'd only be 1 win behind them. If the Sharks win, they'd only be 2 wins behind them. And it'd still be all on for them in terms of a minor premiership. Like the race is still alive there for that at the moment. They don't get to play the Panthers again. They did only play them the one time this year, which was all the way back in round 2 where they lost 26-6. Unfortunately, they don't get to play them again. So they have to rely upon the Roosters and also the Warriors who get to play them again to take points off of them. But then the Roosters and Warriors are also there. Long story short, the Sharks, like, last week showed the team that we expect out of them. And when people constantly ask why Cronulla is on scam all the time here in the channel, it is not because I don't like them, because they're actually my soft spot team outside of the Titans. I want to see the Sharkies do well. But they're a very well-balanced team that act very unbalanced frequently, all of the time. They disappoint in regards to what they should be doing. And what they should be doing is playing like they did last week, because that was exceptional against a good team. Despite having a couple of players out, those outs shouldn't reflect a 66-0 drubbing. 66-0. The Sharks defense really found form again. But you can understand that a lot more so because the players that the Dolphins had out was more on the attacking side. But then the Sharks really found their attacking rhythm against the Dolphins team that just don't really give up that many points anymore, in comparison. So the Sharks last week, if they play like that this week and they play that for the rest of the season, honestly, they can win the premiership. They've been in 2 prelims in a row. It's not out of the equation. That's why we have them on scam, because we expect greatness from them. They went and signed Adam Fanor-Blake from the Warriors to really bolster their front row department. Didn't really lose anything there because it was Adam Fanor-Blake coming across to the Sharks. The Warriors got Fisher Harris, and the Panthers just went and obviously kept with Liam Henry and whatnot, Moses Leota and Lindsay Smith. So the Sharkies didn't actually lose anybody by doing that. So it should have just benefited them. But I haven't really seen that benefit, because when they got him last year, they made the same area, which is the prelim, and then lost to the prelim when it was a very winnable game. But that game against Melbourne, I think the Sharks should have won it. I think the Sharks honestly should have won that game, but it was a nightmare for Cronulla. They honestly were just a nightmare to watch. And that's the problem with this Cronulla Shark team, because we know they can do what they did last week. Are they going to do it again here? I don't know. I could easily see them on fraud again by the end of this game. I really could. I'm not going to do that because the Knights are a good team here. Defense is suspect, but attack is good. Let's see if the Sharks defense holds firm, because if you look at the defense across the season, so through 16 games, they've given up 345 points. Now, a lot of people will be thinking, well, the Sharks have given up a lot of points this year. Well, actually isn't too true. Panthers are above them. Warriors are above them. Roosters are slightly above them with 336, and the Manly Seagulls are at 309. So the Sharks are currently in 5th, and Manly have also played an extra game than them too, mind you. But the Sharks are in 5th for defense right now, and that is inclusive of that nil last week, which is a lot better than I feel like people would have been imagining, because the Sharkies have been sitting around that 6 through kind of 9 area for a while. I think they've always stayed in the 8, if I'm not mistaken. Have they always been in the 8? Round 19, they were in they were in 6th, and then they were in 8th. Did they ever drop out of the 8? They were in 8th back then in round 15 or round 16. I don't know if they ever actually dropped out of the 8. They were in 8th back in round 13. No, they were in 9th in round 12. Yep. And 9th in round 11. 10th in round 10. 8th in round 9. 9th. Yeah, they were just on that edge of the 8, whether in or out of it. Back in round 6, they were 10th. They've always sat in between the 6th to 10th range until now, where they're back up into that top 4, which is exciting times for Cronulla. It's exciting that you've put yourself back into that range, and because for a long period, it wasn't looking likely. And even in a lot of those wins where they beat the Warriors 10-8, it wasn't a fantastic performance by either team there. And the Warriors missed a kick to actually send that to extra time in the last few seconds of the game. The game against the Broncos the other week wasn't fantastic. Obviously, it was awful against the Roosters when they lost 27-8. They were losing at halftime to the Dragons, who, granted, the Dragons have been a better team recently, but they were losing at halftime to the Dragons before they came and whooped them. Against Manly, they were up like 28-4, and then it came back to 28-22 in the final score, and Manly had a couple of players out there. The Bulldogs game was great. That was actually probably one of their best wins. Outside of the Dolphins game, Dolphins was clearly their best win of the season. But 38-16 over the Dogs was actually a really clean performance from them. Not great by the Dogs, but it was a clean performance from Cronulla. But then when they lost the Rabbitohs, it's just like, what? You just don't really know. In the Tigers game when they won 52-10, it's like, one, it's the Tigers also, but two, the Tigers had all of their players out in that game, and that was completely understandable, and that's where the Tigers were completely falling off a cliff at the beginning part of May with all their injuries. So, like, I look at this Sharks team and I go, they should be winning this game. They really should be winning it, but I just don't know if I can trust them. Until they go and consistently do what they did last week, I can't trust them. Yeah, sure, their form line actually suggests pretty well. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of their last 7 games. Out of their last 7 games, they've won 6 times. That's a very good stat right there. However, if you look at a couple of those games, you're just like, oh, well, it wasn't great, but they still got the job done, which is actually a sign of a premiership team. But we're not going that far right now. I need Sharks to be consistent, which is not something they typically do, but I need them to go and be consistent, because right now, when you look at them confirming themselves for the top 8, they're on 10 wins. Now, you need 32 points and 13 wins to get into the top 8. The Sharks have the Knights today, Manly next week, then the Rabbitohs, the Dragons, the Raiders, the Titans, the Eels, and the Storm. It's not that difficult of a run home. This Sharks team should be guaranteed for the top 8 right now, because you're taking on the bottom 3 teams, Titans in second last, Eels in third last, and the Dragons in last. The Raiders, actually, these are pretty much all just bottom 8 teams. Besides the Knights, Manly, 9th. Rabbitohs, 6th. Dragons, 17th. Raiders, 12th. Titans, 16th. Eels, 15th. And Storm, 10th. 6 out of their remaining 8 games are against the bottom 8. And they only need to win 3 of them. So realistically, this Sharks team is actually prime for a top 4 spot because they should be winning 6 of those games. They should win 6 out of 8 to finish off the season if they are who they say they are. Cronulla, if you are as good as you believe and you are the same team that's made a couple of prelims in a row, well, fantastic. You go and prove it now. 6 out of the next 8 games, inclusive today, is against bottom 8 teams. The Knights and the Rabbitohs are the only 2 teams that are in the top 8. You play for the rest of the season. And I also would be saying that you could easily win those games too. There is a world where they could go on an 8-0 streak, or more because of the previous games, but there is a world where they could get 8 games out of their next 8 games because they're not difficult matchups. But the thing is, the Storm will be maybe playing for a top 8 spot. Maybe the Raiders are playing for it. Maybe the Rabbitohs are playing for it. Maybe the Knights are playing for it. So there's context behind that, but it's just that their schedule home is not difficult, and all they need is 3 more wins. So if you think the Sharks aren't making the 8 this year, you're dreaming. They are guaranteed for the top 8, but can they win a comp? That's another question in itself in terms of consistency. Now let's move over to the Newcastle Knights, where their ins are Bradman Best and Brodie Jones, the outs are Cody Hopwood, and that's it. Fullback is Callum Ponga, who was the captain, with the wings being Dominic Young and Greg Martiu. Centers of Dane Gagai and Bradman Best. The 5/8 is Fletcher Sharp, with the halfback being Dylan Brown. Front row forwards are Tyson Frizzell and Trey Mooney, with the number 9 being Phoenix Crossland. Back row, Dylan Lucas and Francis Manalalua, with the 13 being Matty Croker. And the interchange is Sandon Smith, Lachlan Crouch, Thomas Kant, Brodie Jones, Fletcher Hunt, and Harrison Graham, with coach Justin Holbrook. I love this from the Knights because if you guys have been watching my streams all year, I've been saying I think Fletcher Sharp is the 6, and I think that Dylan Brown is the 7. I never really believed that Dylan Brown was a 7, especially at Parramatta. He didn't show great signs there, but with that being said, he's been doing really good stuff for the Newcastle Knights this year in the 7 role, and I've been super happy with it. And I think that Fletcher Sharp is brilliant in the 6, and you want him with his hands on the ball. And I just personally don't really rate Sandon Smith that highly, and I think that Justin Holbrook has made the right change here by putting Sandon to the 14, which is what I've been saying for a while. Fletcher Sharp to the 6 and Dylan Brown to the 7, and they've got obviously Dane Gagai and Bradman Best in the centres now, and Callum Pong is there. This is a full strength Knights lineup. It's a full strength Knights lineup unless I'm missing somebody. I can't think of anybody who would actually be out here. Unless Francis Manalalua isn't typically their starting back rower. They've got Dylan Lucas, but who's the other back rower? Is there? Because I don't feel like Manalalua is typically starting for them. I could be wrong here. But anyway, this is a very strong Knights lineup. Let me know in the chat, Knights fans, who is maybe missing from this team. But overall, I think this is as full strength as you can possibly get. The Knights in recent weeks, geez, they've been just really worrisome. Like, obviously, they lost the Rabbitohs 26-24 when the Rabbitohs had quite a few players out. They shifted a lot of players around. It was just a bit of a schmozzle. But yet, the Rabbitohs won 26-24. They beat the Dolphins 13-12. The Dolphins had all of their players out and from Origin, and it was just an absolute nightmare from both those teams there. But the week beforehand was the worst when they beat the Tigers 12-6, and that was the worst game of the season. And yes, I'm including Dragons and Titans with that. I'm including Manly and Bulldogs in that. I'm including Bulldogs and Eels in that. Raiders and Eels. I'm including all those games. The Knights Tigers was the worst game of the season by far. But the Knights did win that game, so they do take that. And again, they still, in this 3-week stanza, remove the Rabbitohs game. In the 3-week stanza of the Dolphins, the Tigers, and the win of the Dragons 22-20, you would have liked to have seen far better. Like, you really would have. And that's why they've been on fraud alert for a while, and they're back on fraud alert. They went off of fraud alert after they beat the after they beat the Dolphins, because it was like, technically speaking, they've won 3 games in a row. So you had to take them off of fraud alert. But if you were asking me, my opinion is that this team is still a fraud alert. And of course, after the Rabbitohs game, it was very easy for me to put them straight back on there. It actually is amazing to me that they are right now in the top 4 with wins, because they've got 11 wins compared to the Sharks, who are on 10. It's just that the Sharks have had 3 of their buys, and the Knights still have a bye to come. So that's a benefit. So the Knights with the bye to come for this season, which I believe is the last in round 27 is when they received the bye, that's a huge, huge benefit to them compared to, you know, a team like the Cowboys and the Dolphins, and even to say teams like the Storm, definitely. You know, if they lose today, the Storm, shit, I don't know if they make it. I just don't know if they do it because they've only got 7 games to go. Yeah, 7 games to go inclusive of tonight, because it's 8 games to go from here. But because they've got the bye at 7, so the bye doesn't help them. So that means that, for example, the Storm still need 5 wins from 7, inclusive of tonight. If they lost today, then that means they'd need to win 5 out of their last 6, and it just gets really, really difficult from there. So the Knights, for mine, it's a benefit. Unless you went and lost a couple of games in a row here, then we'd start to talk about the fact that it might not be a benefit for you. Now, you have the Sharks away, the Roosters at home, the Broncos away, the Raiders away, the Titans at home, Manly at home, and the Warriors away before you do have the bye in round 27. It's not the easiest run home for you. Sharks top 4, Roosters top 4, Broncos coming off of, well, it'll be 3 weeks away, but they just beat the Panthers last night. If they're full strength, that will be a hard one up there at Suncorp Stadium. The Raiders obviously find a bit of form. The Titans is always a very mixed bag with you guys. Very, very mixed bag between the Titans and Knights when they play each other. Typically, the Knights win at home against them, but the Titans did beat them last year in Newcastle. Manly in 9th, fighting for a top 8 spot, and the Warriors in 2nd, who may be still fighting for a minor premiership at that point, before obviously your bye. All you need is 2 more wins. Like, you should be getting into the top 8. All you need is 2 more wins to get to that 13. I have said for a while now, I think there is a genuine chance you may need 34 points to get into this top 8 this year, because the Panthers are already there. The Warriors, the Roosters, and the Knights only need 2 more wins to get to 13. The Sharks only need 3. Dolphins only need 3. Cowboys only need 3. Rabbitohs and Manly only need 4 out of their remaining 8. So it's just like there is actually genuinely a chance that 34 points could be it. I think that 32 points will still probably be what you need, but there is a chance that 34 points, this could be one of the best top 8 seasons you've seen in terms of like how many wins the teams have gotten to get into it. So, yeah, I would be pretty cautious about that. Overall, though, right now, until proven otherwise, you do just have to think that 32 points is going to get you in. But the thing is, like, if the Warriors beat the Dragons, they're 12. Roosters beat the Storm today, they're on 12. If the Sharks get a win today to make it 11, they're equal there with the Knights. If the Dolphins Cowboys play each other. Anyway, long story short, 34 is actually a miniature chance here, which would be just dramatic for them to need to get that. But I still feel like the Knights should just be making the top 8 this year. But I feel like it definitely is more so going to be towards that 5 through 7 range, maybe. I still think maybe they could hold on for a home spot here, because they're like, the Sharks game's tough and the Roosters game's tough. And then the Warriors game is really tough. Outside of that, it's kind of like games that could be tricky. Manly, Raiders, Titans, and Broncos, they could be tricky games there. But with the attack that the Knights possess, like, they still should be winning those games. And when you look at the Newcastle Knights in terms of their for and against, like, they've conceded 402 points this year. So that's behind the Panthers, the Warriors, the Roosters, the Sharks, the Rabbitohs, the Dolphins, Manly, the Bulldogs. So they're already out of the top 8 defensively. And they're only 7 points better off than the Titans right now. So, like, they are just outside the 8 in 9th position on the defense, which isn't spectacular for a team that's fighting for a top 4 spot. And then attacking-wise, they've got 441 points. Now, this is with an extra game than the teams above them, which is more of a concern. So the Panthers have scored more. The Warriors have scored more. The Roosters haven't, but again, that's with an extra game played for the Knights, but we can't use the Roosters for now. The Sharks have scored more. The Rabbitohs, the Dolphins, they've scored the same as Manly. So they're equal 6th right now. And that's it. So they're equal 6th for the attack, but slight chance they could be equal 7th for attack if the Roosters were to go and get a good win tonight against the Storm. But they're 6th for attack and they're 9th for defense. And that's why when we talk about the Knights, people might again think that we dislike them, because people immediately think that if you say any kind of negative criticism or any critique for a team, immediately that person just doesn't like that team. It's like, no, I don't have any problems or any thought process really about the Knights. It's just that's why I put them between that 5 through 7, 5 through 8 area rather than the top 4, because that's what their stats suggest. Attack is equal 6th right now, potentially 7th, and potentially 8th if you do see Manly go and get a good win against the Titans this week. So, like, their attack is equal 6th, potentially 7th if the Roosters get a big enough win in today. And then, because again, that's with a less game played. And then also potentially 8th if Manly were to get a bigger win against the Titans this weekend. And then you've got that defense being in 9th. So it is actually right on the edge of the top 8 on both sides of the ball there. And that's why it's not about hate. It's just about acknowledging and observing the fact that the stats suggest that this Knights team being a top 4 does not make sense. It just doesn't. That doesn't mean that it can't happen. Things can happen and not make sense, but statistically, it just doesn't make sense. So realistically, this game is a difficult game to read here today. It's very, very difficult because the Sharks are not a consistent team. Even though they're 6 out of the last 7 games, you know what I mean if you watch Cronulla games on a regular. If they win, they should realistically be winning this game here today, but can you still trust them? Despite that 66-0 win last week, can you trust them? And then the Knights, it's like, well, they've won plenty of games recently. It hasn't been great where they've just gotten past the Dragons, and only because of conversions missed for the Dragons, mind you. Just gotten past the Dragons, just gotten past the Tigers in the worst game of the season, and then just gotten past an injury and origin-ravaged Dolphins team, and then lost to a Rabbitohs team that had, some outs of their own. And the only really was Brabham Best that was out in that game too. I'm going to take the Sharks here because realistically, on paper, I think they should be winning. I think this is where they have to prove themselves. I'm sorry, Knights fans, but I can't bat those stats because, again, if we look at the stats, Sharks have scored 468, Knights have scored 441. So the Sharks are a better attacking team here, and that's also 468 through one less game for Cronulla. They've scored 27 more points than the Knights, and that's with one less game than the Knights. And then you go to and that doesn't, obviously that really was helped by that Dolphins win last week. But the point is they're 27 points better off than the Knights this season with one less game. And then the defense, they are currently 57 points better off defensively. So the Sharks have conceded 57 less points with an extra game. So that's a benefit to the Knights. 57 less points conceded. And then also 27 more points conceded. The Sharks should be winning this at home. They should be. But the reason why we get concerned and confused about it is because the Sharks are never consistent. So they need to do that today. So I'm going to take the Sharks here. I'm going to take them 1 of 12. I also do think there is a world where the Sharks win this game 13+. And I do obviously think the Knights can win this game as well. But I think if there is a chance of a 13+ here, it probably more so likely would be Cronulla. But I will go with the 1 of 12 there for the Sharks because I think this should be a close game. But statistically, the Sharks should win it. They realistically should be. Now, in regards to the ladder, the Sharks are on 26 points right now with a plus 123. They're equal with the Newcastle Knights, who are plus 39. If the Sharks were to win this game, well, for the time being, they would go above the Roosters into 3rd position because the Roosters are on 28, Warriors are on 28, Roosters with plus 76, Warriors with a plus 194. So the Sharks with the win would go on to equal 2nd, but they would be in 3rd with the Roosters still to play the Storm and the Warriors still to play the Dragons. But the Warriors are plus 194, so essentially the Sharks have to win by about 80-odd points, 74 points or whatever it is. 72 points, I think it is, to go above the Warriors for the time being. But again, they play the Dragons, which you just should be expecting the result there for the Wars, especially with the Panthers losing yesterday. So, look, is there a chance they can go to 2nd? Maybe, but not really. The Dragons have been better, but surely not. So, Sharks would be in 3rd, just depending on that Roosters game tonight. However, if they lose this game, well, the Knights would automatically go above them. They'd be in 5th position. Luckily for them, they smashed their points differential last week in a good way. So it's like the Rabbitohs, the Dolphins, or the Cowboys could win. And Dolphins and Cowboys actually play each other. But they're nowhere close to the plus 123. So the Rabbitohs are plus 86, the Dolphins are plus 64, and the Cowboys are minus 16. So the Cowboys are no chance. Dolphins also realistically should be no chance. Rabbitohs are a relative chance, but the Raiders are competing for a top 8 spot right now, and they need to perform because, they've only got 7 more games for the rest of the season and they need to win 6 more games. So the Raiders just must keep on winning. They're 1 win above the Broncos, by the way. So Broncos fans who are saying oh, well, we've still got a chance. You do technically still have a chance, but you still need to win 7 of your remaining 7 to be with a chance there. And you've got to sort that points differential of minus 124 out because you could get to 32 and not make it. Even if your points differential is not good enough. Right now, your points differential is still worse off than teams like the Titans in second last. The Raiders were obviously in 12th. The Bulldogs were in 11th. And obviously everybody above that. So when we're talking about these teams down there, I know that was a good win for you guys yesterday in regards to the Broncos, but don't get too crazy in regards to thinking like, oh, okay, well, top 8 is coming now, because you still need to win every single game for the rest of the season. And then obviously go to the finals, so it's going to be a bit tough there. But yeah, look, if the Sharks lose this, they will go to 5th, and that's as low as they go, unless they lost by enough where the Rabbitohs and Sharks switched points differentials by roughly about 50 points. And I just don't think that's going to be happening. So 5th place for the Sharks. Now, if the Knights win, they would automatically go above the Sharks. They're on 26 points with plus 39. They would go above the Sharks. Their points differential isn't spectacular for a top 8 team. So they wouldn't be going anywhere above the Roosters or the Warriors for the time being. With the Roosters being on plus 76, that's 49, 59, 69. That's 37 points. They'd have to win by 38 points to go above the Roosters today. But again, the Roosters play the Storm right after this, which we'll be live for. So they would need to win by basically 40 points. I just don't see that happening whatsoever. If they did, they would be above the Roosters for the time being. However, with a win, no matter what, they'll be 4th. With a loss, though, it's a bit of a different situation for the Sharks. So the Rabbitohs, they're already on a better points differential than them with a plus 86. If they beat the Raiders, Knights would go to 6th. Dolphins and Cowboys, if the Dolphins won with their plus 64, they would go above the Knights. The Knights would go down at 7th. If the Cowboys won, they're minus 16. So you would assume the Cowboys wouldn't have enough to go above the Knights, but they'd be equal with Newcastle. So you would be in 6th with a Cowboys win. You would be in 7th with a Dolphins win. And that's as low as you can possibly go. So yeah, you would just want the Cowboys. If you lose today, you would just want the Cowboys to win against the Dolphins on Sunday's game, which is the final game of the round, and it's a massive Sunday. Those games on Sunday are just huge in terms of the top 8 there. So anyway, that is the table, and a lot to play for here. And again, that next game, there's a lot to play for too. Roosters still play for a minor premiership now, and mind you, you've got to remember, guys, the Warriors and the Roosters still have a game against the Panthers. Both of those teams still have a game against the Panthers. So if the Warriors beat the Dragons tomorrow and the Roosters beat the Storm tonight, they're only one win away from the Panthers. The points differential is still separated. But let's just say the Warriors and Roosters both get a win there, which I doubt, because I think the Panthers will play up there. But there is no guarantee the Panthers have actually got that minor premiership right now, because they would only be one win away and they both get to play them. So very interesting stuff there. The Panthers next week, geez, they've got to really start turning their season back around. They play the Eels. If there's a team you want to play yourself into form against, it's typically the Eels, but geez, you're just not confident on the old pennies right now. You just really aren't confident on the old pennies at the moment, but I'm sure they'll be fine. This is the middle part. This is a three-quarter mark of the season. They are where they are. Like, I'm pretty certain the Panthers will be completely fine. It's not our first rodeo. You know, this is usually where you see teams have form slumps going to finals and they pump them strong. I still wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers still just go and win this premiership. I will actually, on a stream, if the Panthers lose in the finals, you'll see me in just shock. I'll just be like, oh, shit, like the Panthers are out. I'll be in genuine shock if they don't win this competition this year. But I do think it's open. I do. I think it's open here, and I'm looking forward to seeing this game here today. And if the Sharks can go and win, Knights fans, block your ears for this. If the Sharks can go and win this game by 30 to 40 points plus, I think the Sharks should be considered a genuine threat if they win this game by 30 to 40 points plus. If they don't, if they just win, you're at least happy with their success rate recently, and also off the back of that Dolphins one and showing it's not a one-off there. So I think you'll be confident that they'll compete. But if you can win this game by 30 to 40 points plus, I feel like they genuinely should be a threat for that grand final. And the Panthers are no guarantees as we currently speak, because they have been rough lately, but I still think they'll be fine. Knights, if you went and won this game by 30, so Sharks fans, you can block your ears for this part. One, if the Knights went and won the game by 30 to 40 points, Cronulla, you're going back on to scam. Actually, no, you are not going fraud. You are going scam. No, I am doing it. No, if you lose this game, the Knights, I'm putting you on scam, because you can't win 66-0 1 week and then the next week go and lose to a Knights team that statistically shouldn't be beating you, and especially at home too. No, Sharks will go back on the scam. And I have one follower on Instagram who keeps consistently complaining about the Sharks being on scam. And it's like, I know you know what we're talking about. Like, if you watch rugby league and you watch these games, you know full well, especially if you're a Sharks fan, especially you know that the scam is always on you for a reason. I don't even know why people argue it. One, it's not that deep. But also, two, I actually don't even genuinely understand why people argue it. Because, like, if you watch it, you know exactly what we're talking about. But look, if the Knights win by the same margin, I still don't know if I could say they're a genuine threat, but they're... would it tell you more about Cronulla, though? I don't know. I feel like I need to see more from the Knights over these next few weeks to have my opinion really changed around on them. I don't think a win over Cronulla is going to tell me everything about them. I think it will tell me more about Cronulla tonight. But with that being said, a win for the Knights would be huge. They'd be in the top 4 for this round, and they've still got a bye. And they only need one more win to guarantee themselves into the top 8 for the rest of the season. So, yeah, look, anyway, that's the preview for today, guys. I'm going with the Sharkies, 1-12. I could see a 13+ through if all things go to plan for them like they did last week. Might start off slow this game, but it will definitely rock on. It could be... It could be a great defensive game, but realistically, the Knights aren't a great defense. The Sharkies are a much better defense, and in recent years, the Sharks have been much better defensively than what they've shown this year, and the Sharks are still in 5th for defense, I think it was, when we went through it before. If the Sharkies play defensively like they've done over the recent years, I'm telling you, the Sharks are a real dark horse right now. If they go and win this game here by a big margin, they're a real dark horse. But people might not include them as a dark horse, but they should be. They should be. Even though they've been back-to-back prelims, they should be. I'm pretty certain everybody would be. Like, people are going to think Dolphins, but it's like, really? The Dolphins have conceded over 110 points to Cronulla and Manly in 2 games this year. In 2 games, 110 points. No team has ever won the premiership after conceding 50. And the Dolphins are frequent fall-offs when it comes to the second half of seasons. So, you know, they should be making this top 8. But also, it's definitely no guarantee as we currently speak. So that's why it's a big game on Sunday against the Cowboys there. But guys, obviously hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. The game starts in, I think it's 20 minutes time. So plenty of time to get a bit of chatola going. And, no, it's not 20 minutes time, 10 minutes time. In 10 minutes time, that will be when the game gets going. So like I said, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. And as you guys know, I am in Kazakhstan. And on Monday, for you guys, at 5 p.m. your time, you will see a video of our first 48 hours in Kazakhstan, our thoughts and whatnot, because obviously we get a lot of questions about our travels, and on BKR Travel in the pinned comment, go subscribe over there, because that's where we'll have all our conversations and vlogs and videos and whatnot about the traveling exploits. I tell you what, though, the sun in this country is beautiful. I really wish I was outside right now in this sun, because it is actually just stunning. Like, it feels so good to be out in the sun here in Kazakhstan. But anyway, that's a conversation for BKR Travel. So if you haven't subscribed over there, go to the pinned comment and go give it a big old red button push. Travis says, what's the weather looking like? Same as yesterday's game? No, it looks fine here. I can't see any bad weather as we currently speak. Nowhere near as bad as yesterday's game. There is like light rain around, but nothing significant. You can't see it on the broadcast right now. Maybe we might get some more rain, but it's not looking like it's a huge one like yesterday. David says, very wet day still in Sydney at the odds. I'll be back in Knights, $3 win. Okay, so basically you're on the same wavelength. The Sharks aren't a confident bet still. I disagree. I just think the Sharks should win this game. They should, but also we know what the Sharks can do, and they can disappoint greatly. So I think if you want to get on a roughie, sure. I do think the Knights are still a roughie here. I think they still are. The Sharks should still be winning this game, but I get ya. Knights plus $8.5, $90. Again, yeah, I think you guys know what I'm saying. Blake says, hello, get around ya. Islam says, by any chance, do you know why Moses Leo isn't playing today? I would have no idea, man. I would have no idea. That's a Google job for you, sir. X just got here. What happened last week when the Dolphins got smoked? They'll stuff it up tonight. So what? What happened last week when the Dolphins got smoked? Are you saying like a what happened to me? Or like what are you... They'll stuff it up tonight. Who stuffed it up tonight? What do you actually say? Can you do that comment again? I don't really know what you're actually kind of saying there. Glenn says, Dylan Brown was a great purchase. I think Dylan Brown is a great signing. Long-term signatures on that level of 10 years kind of deal is a long time. And there is a lot of footy that will be played between now and 2035, what I think he signed for. I just think that those 10-year contracts, whilst I get them, I understand it. I just feel like it's such a risk from clubs. You need to have those get-out clauses from both sides throughout it. You need it to have get-out clauses for both player and also for club, but specifically club, because if a player gets like a serious long-term injury, whilst this may sound like a shit thing to say, by the way, and I completely understand that, but you also need to protect your club, and the player needs to protect his career. So I do think you need, I hope that they do have some get-out clauses from both sides there, obviously separated by 3-4 years apart, not like every single year, like certain clubs have done, i.e. Titans. Not like them. I really hope that both sides have every 3 or 4 years a way to separate themselves. Yeah, I just think that 10 years is huge, more so for the club side of things. Taj says, I think it's Sharks versus the Knights. Yep, that is this game. Yeah, no, we are here for Sharks versus the Knights. Don't know what planet you're living on. Yeah, well, we're here. We're here on Sharks versus the Knights. What comment is that? Glenn says lost Munster too. Yeah, Munster out is huge. Jermaine McEwen. Thank you, Justin, for the human. Jermaine McEwen, and also, I guess, Sophie. No, Jermaine McEwen would be probably their biggest out because he is their starting back rower. Storm are gone. Hard run home. Not necessarily just yet, but I would agree, but I wouldn't just say it flat out. No, not happening. If they lost by like 30 tonight to the Roosters, which is entirely possible, maybe. Seb says, looking forward to this fraud fest. We must be due the shit version of the Sharks to turn up, and I don't trust the Knights to do jack shit. Yeah, I agree with that comment. I definitely don't trust the Knights, and I definitely don't trust Cronulla, but if I'm going to trust someone more, it would be the team that won 66-0 last week. But yeah, this is a fraud fest all over. It is a fraud fest all over. But if the Sharks win this game by 30 to 40 points, I think that the notion of frauds should be regressing. It could easily jump back at you at any point, but the notion of frauds would regress for the time being. But they'll go on scam if they lose this. You can't win 66-0 and then lose the next week at home. 66-0 away, by the way. I feel no to my team is killing at the moment. Surely one or two of them will put on a good run to the finals. Yep, that's what Cronulla are looking to do right this second. This time last season, 8th place had 22 points. Yep, so that would align with what I'm saying in terms of there is a genuine chance that the competition this year you might need 34 points, which would mean that the Panthers actually haven't guaranteed themselves in. They're going to be there. But if you would need 14 wins to get to 34 points, the Panthers need 1 more win. The Warriors, the Roosters, and the Knights would still need 3 more wins. The Sharks would still need 4 more wins. The Rabbitohs would still need 5 more wins. The Dolphins and Cowboys would need 4 more wins. Manly would need 5 more wins. Storm would then need 6 more wins out of their last 7. And the Bulldogs and Raiders would need 7 wins out of their last 8 for the Bulldogs, 7 for the Raiders. And then for the Broncos, they'd be done. They'd be out. They would be done. Yeah, because they couldn't possibly get 8 more wins from 7 games. If that was the case, if 34 points is what you would needed, then the Broncos are officially cut off mathematically, and then the Raiders and above are the only ones with a chance, but it would just be ridiculous. If you need 34 points this year, we've pretty much got it down to the final 9 teams as we currently speak, which would just be insane. 34 points would be insane work, and you'd feel so unlucky and so harshly done by if you got to 32 points and missed out. But it's still unlikely. 32 points is probably still what you're going to need. But 34 points is entirely possible right now. Just another human says, if Brisbane make the 8, I will eat my hat. Brisbane aren't making the 8. Broncos fans, they're delusional if they think they're making the 8. I think that they should be very happy with a win last night. I think that showed that the Broncos are as full of a straight team as they could have for the first time in a long time. And it was a good performance from them. Yeah, sure, there was a couple of controversial calls and whatnot, but the Broncos were the better team in the game. And I think they should just be happy with kind of running home with some pride for this back end of the season. The Broncos aren't making the top 8, man. They've got too difficult of a run home, and they need to win every single game for the rest of the season. And again, if it's 34 points you need, they're already done. 32 points, they would still need to fix this points differential, which is still just dramatically awful. Broncos aren't making the top 8, but it was a good win for them yesterday regardless. Cream City says, g'day mate, love the channel, get around your Cream City. Just another human says, don't be sorry, here for the umpire's truth and stats. Yeah, well, I do my best, man. Like, at the end of the day, most people, and I say this honestly, most people, if they ever hear you say any form of constructive criticism or any form of negative light showing on an observation about their club, if you say anything that's not on a positive level about their club, if I'm not here circle jerking their club, immediately I'm called a hater of that team. I've dealt with it with Tigers for a while. I don't really deal with it with Warriors too much, but that's because I feel like Warriors fans are quite understanding of the fact that their team is it's very hard to back them in because they've done this for so long, where they can be really good, but then they can completely fall off a cliff. There are, I can't say a single word about the Broncos because they'll just say, "Oh, Titans fan." And 3-4 years ago, I can get it, but I'm a different person now. I do give my honest opinion and through the observations and through what we see here. But most people, if you say anything of a relative negative note, immediately will say, "Hater, he hates his club." I sit with all content creators. Marcelo says, not sure if you answered this recently, but do you see the NRL introducing the wild card as well as the AFL do in the next year or two? Yep. Yeah, I do 100%. I 100% think that will be the case because it's more money, more revenue, and more viewership. 100%, I think. 100% that'll happen. Troy says, what's your thoughts on Panthers? Do you think they look a lot more beatable at the last few months? Well, you know the obvious answer to that. Highlands 1 says Sharks 13 plus. Possible. It is possible. I'm going to go Sharks 1 at 12, but if the Sharks play like they did last week, they could win by 30 to 40 points. Plus, even more potentially. Like, if the Sharks play like they did last week, they could win this game by 50. I don't think they play like they did last week, but the Sharks last week were perfect. They really were. They were brilliant to watch. Against the Dolphins team that had no excuses in terms of giving up 66-0. There's no excuses there. I know Isaiah Katoa was out. He was out this week as well, mind you. I know Hamisa was out. I know these guys were out. But that is on the attack, so nil is still rough because you've still got a professional lineup there of professional footy players. Yeah, sure, a couple of backups, but professional footy players there. That should not be getting done to nil against a Sharks team that has been okay on defense this year. Last week really benefited them with the nil. So they've been okay defensively this year. Nil was never... 10 points would have been explainable. 6 points would have been explainable. 12 points would have been explainable. Nil is not. And then don't even start me on the 66. Because if anybody can try... if there is no world that anybody who watches this sport... There's no world that you can put a reasonable argument together for 66 points conceded when it was only Saikato and Hamisa on that out and Jack Bostock. That's not an excuse for 66 points conceded. Fair point. Sharks in good form at the moment. They are 6 out of their last 7. But with that being said, Knights are similar, but both teams have been iffy. The only separated there is that the Sharks won 66-0. That's the only separator. But this could be a really good game here. It could be a really, really good game, and that's hopefully what we're going to get. The Knights are running out into the field, and Sharks will be soon on after. If Sharks lose, Antarctica are in. Not Antarctica. They'll be on scam. If they lose next week, then I'd put Antarctica in for sure. Knights aren't that bad. They're not the blimmin' Titans, for gosh sake, were we? Yeah, don't start, bro. But the fact of the matter is that, see, that's a comment right there. Like, that's a comment right there that doesn't want to acknowledge what we've spoken about here. And most people will then utilize an attack at your club to defend their club. And it's like, my club has absolutely fuck all to do with the Knights right now. So bringing the Titans in to compare with the Knights makes absolutely no sense. And it just shows irrelevance to the conversation. If you would like to debate the fact that the Knights are a better team than what I've suggested throughout this game, despite the fact that I've given you the statistics and I've given you all the showings in regards to why I've come to my conclusion, please feel free to argue that in regards to an actual reasoning argument, because bringing the Titans in has absolutely no relevance whatsoever in terms of the Newcastle Knights, and it just weakens your side of the argument. So if you're going to criticize what I've said in regards to Newcastle here today, please feel free to do that, but please use a good argument rather than just, oh, your team's shit, because no shit, Sherlock. I complain about my team every single week here on this channel. You know, I shit on them every single week. So it's like, you're not getting any kind of a win by insulting an irrelevant team to a conversation about this team. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, the game has started here. So were we, please feel free to actually tell me why you believe I'm wrong with whatever I've said here. But the Knights are going to bring this ball to the 15 on first tackle. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. Let me just refresh this live score so it is moving and grooving. Let me just refresh this bad boy. And there we go. It should come up any moment now. There we go. Newcastle, third tackle, bring this ball to the 35. Yeah, what are the Sharks wearing right now, by the way? That's the problem, Glenn. The Sharks aren't consistent. Otherwise, they would have won a comp over the last few years. I think it's harsh over the last few years considering how... Well, last year is actually a prime example. It was a very winnable... The Bronx won out of turn last year, but they did win it and they deserved it, but they won out of turn last year. The Sharks, realistically, for mine, should have gone on to win that comp last year. They should have, because they should have beaten the Storm in that prelim final, but they didn't. And I think that they would have been... And I was saying since about round 18, 19, after that Sharks-Broncos game midway through last year at round 16, 15 or something like that, I kept saying Sharks-Broncos will probably be the best grand final if they can make it, because there was such contrasting styles of footy, but also high energy in regards to a lot of ways. I think it would have been a great grand final. Broncos probably would have gone to won it, but it would have been even more of a better grand final, in my opinion, than the Storm versus Broncos was, and that was a great grand final last year. Forward tackle with the Sharks, and Tommy Hazelton's going to bring it out to the 35 on fifth tackle. So yeah, I would have liked to have seen the Sharks get past the Storm, because the Storm were very beatable in that game, but I tell you what, William Kennedy had an absolute nightmare horror show in that prelim final that really cost him, and the Sharks just obviously weren't good enough. But I think if there was a year for them to go and do it, it was definitely last year. Patricia says, big one for the Sharks, and Storm by 4 or more, fingers crossed. Storm have no Jerome Hughes and have no Cameron Munster, so good luck with that one. Good luck with that one. Jakes, I feel like the Broncos will play better without Reynolds, even without Haas. Not without Haas, but without Reynolds, sure. Third tackle here for Newcastle. They'll beat the 42 on their own side of the field. Dom Young with the ball. Phoenix Crossland across to Matt Croker. It was, the first 15 minutes last week was quite slow from Cronulla. I think it was still 0-0 after the first 15 minutes, and then that's when the Sharks really started to open up afterwards. Oh, Croker. Oh, why didn't he get the offload away to Crossland just then? There would have been a breakaway. They give it to Dylan Brown, and Dylan Brown runs this ball to the 20, passes out to Dom Young, and that's going to be not played out, and it's going to be Sharks ball to 13. Yeah, so just be aware here that there is a chance that the Sharks do get off slow, and the Knights have to capitalise on that. In the first 10 to 15, they have to get off to a good start. Let's get some multis, like champagne bottles. Just another human says, looking for quality from us. Come on, Newey. Yeah, want to see a lot more quality than I've seen in recent weeks. I know they've won 3 out of their last 4, but the Tigers game wasn't great. The Dragons game wasn't great. And who was the third game there? Tigers, Dragons, and somebody else. Where is it? Knights are doing well defensively in this first little bit. Dolphins, that's right. Yeah, it wasn't a great 3 weeks, but they got 3 wins then, and then they lost to the Rabbitohs, obviously. So they go to the right-hand side. McInnes and Britton Nakora is going to get this ball to the 35, so not many meters being made by the Sharks early doors. Bakelit's coming Sharks, just don't win over 12+. I think there's an entire chance for that. Nico Hines is going to boot that ball away. And Kalen Ponga gets the ball to the 18, and he'll bring it out now to the 25, to the 30. On 35, 40 on first tackle. Geez, Sharks allowed that one. Does anyone know what these kits are for, though? What are these kits actually for? Because they've got a purple, or is it pink? A pink and, like, black kit here, the Sharks. And Bradman Best will be third tackle at the 50. After last week, I feel complacency could be the biggest issue for the Sharks today. It's definitely not complacency. That's not correct. The Sharks are definitely not a complacent team. They are a very inconsistent team. If you had said inconsistent, that'd be absolutely right. But the Sharks aren't a complacent team. Like, they don't think that they're just going to win the comp now because they won 66-0. Because they have also been actually actively talking about how they would like to be better this year. So they're not already thinking that now they're perfect. Complacency isn't the right word for the Sharks, but inconsistency is definitely a massive issue for Cronulla. Great take there from Sione Katoa at the 5 on first tackle. Jay Leachman says, I love the background, mate. Hello from Melbourne. Well, hello from Almaty in Kazakhstan. This is, I'm currently in Almaty, Kazakhstan. I look out my room here. I see the beautiful mountains. There's snow tops. It's the middle of summer, but yet the mountains still have the beautiful snow tops. I had a nice little breakfast this morning at a big shopping centre here, and they had a great view of the mountains, and it's just so stunning. And the sun here is just amazing. Sharks will also wear a special Women in League jersey. Oh, fair enough. Oh, is it Women in League round this round, is it? I haven't heard anything about that. Didn't hear anything about that yesterday. Is this Women in League round? They give it to Trindle, and then Trindle at the 40. He's going to whack this one down where it's going to bounce here at the 20 for Ponga. And then he'll bring it out now to the 25 on first tackle. Oh, geez. Kyle Iro with a great tackle on Kalaponga there. I've never seen the Sharks wear these colours. Doesn't look right at all. I didn't even know this was Women in League round. That's what happened in Vietnam. What do you mean what happened in Vietnam? I'm moving and grooving, mate. I go wherever the wind blows, son. Third tackle for Knights at the 30. What do you mean? I left there 2 days ago now, and I'm here for another 3-4 weeks in Kazakhstan. Then I'll probably head off to maybe Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. I'll go back to Vietnam maybe about a month and a half, 2 months. And Bradman Best, he'll go out to the left, and he'll lose the ball there, and it's going to be a one-on-one strip, but they're going to say it goes forward here from Sione Katoa. I guess he's probably pulling it towards himself, and his back is towards the opposition try line. Probably is the right call. He gets on the outside there, and then, yeah, the tackler, it might have been even a penalty there that's been missed. Because I think Hodoroti still had his arms there. Yeah, that probably should have been a penalty to the Knights. But the Knights are going to get the first real attack of this game. They are going to get the first real attack in this game. So, if Katoa gets that ball, it would have been a massive play. But I think the Sharks are quite lucky it wasn't a 2-in-the-tackle strip. Clinton's nice. I'd love to travel Asia. Well, trust me, the BKR travel videos that are coming out will definitely help you in regards to learn all about kind of what I do over here. It's very awesome, man. And we've got a lot to speak about over there. Second tackle now at the 30. You know, I've seen Southeast Asia. I wanted it a little bit different, and that's why I decided. Well, that's forward pass. And Dylan Lucas will be taken down here at the 20 on third tackle. They don't call the forward pass. And now Fletcher Sharp, he'll get this ball across to fans. Crossland now to Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown rocks in the tackle, and Callum Ponga gets the ball after the offload, and will be forward tackle at 20. Now, Asia's great. I just wanted to see different, and Kazakhstan is such a cool country, man. It's so cool. I've only been here for 2 days, but it's been so cool so already. Fit tackle. A lot more to do, though. Fit tackle at 10. Crossland to Fletcher Sharp. Kicks his ball through. Knock on from the Sharkies. Knock on from the Sharkies. Knock on from the Sharkies. Or Salmon. I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, Women in League round kits to the Sharks. Women in League. I didn't know this was Women in League round. Has there been any kind of promotion of this? I get that I'm international, so I won't see as much as you guys do, but has there been any promotion for Women in League round? Because I didn't hear anything of it last night, and I haven't heard the commentary speak about it here today, but I haven't heard anything of the likes. I had no idea until these jerseys. First tackle here at the 8. No, don't worry about that. 6 again for the Knights. Crossland to Trey Mooney, and Mooney is going to be 5 metres away from the line. 5 metres away. They go Crossland out to Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown here at the 10 to Ponga. Ponga's got a chance here. Ponga's got a chance here. Ponga's going to score a try. Ponga's going to score a try, and it's 4-0 here with the kick to come. Cronulla, are you doing what I think you're doing right now? Are you doing what I think you're doing right now? Cronulla 4-0 here to the Knights with the kick to come. Again, the first 15 minutes last week was slow. Yeah, heard nothing in media. It's been all Luai this week. You're probably right there, David. Maybe the Luai situation has really taken over the media of the Women in the League round. But yeah, I haven't heard anything about it until now. Until right now. Yes, Red Knight says, not to be rude, what is it that you do? Do you commentate full time? No, Seb Watson's right. Mostly does OnlyFans. Yeah, OnlyFans is what I do, mate. Yeah, I'm a professional OnlyFans model. But 10 minutes gone into the first half. 30 minutes to go off the first half. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. 10 minutes gone. 30 minutes to go. I can see there's a little bit of a trolling happening here. David says, heard nothing of me but Luai. Bailey says... let's go Knights. Nay says Luai carries on like, okay, we're not doing that. Bait Clips says feet picks. Yeah, massive on the old feet picks, me. Massive on the old feet picks. Huge professional, mate. Huge professional. Nothing about this game, but the Perth Bears have released their date on their jersey, that being August the 8th of this year. Well, they'll just be red and black, won't they? Perth Bears are just going to be... Oh, unless... Because Papua New Guinea are going to be, what, red and yellow? So what is Perth just black and red? Kalen Ponga from the right wing, and Kalen Ponga will miss the kick just. Curls it too much. Aimed at far left, and really, there must be a lot of wind around here today, or just a lot of curl there, because that just completely went across goal. Red, white, and black. So they are just going with the old... they're just keeping the same kind of colours that the North Sydney Bears had, right? Probably black and red with a little hint of yellow to reflect the Western Reds, I reckon. Surely not. If they have yellow in it, well, that's what's Papua New Guinea. Well, what's Papua New Guinea going to have then? We got Coke Zero in a wine glass. Yep, yeah, got Coke Zero in the old glass over here. It's nice, man. Look at me go. Look at me go, all elegant. All elegant. That's what I'm doing now. That's the lifestyle I'm on right now. Drinking Coke Zero from an elegant glass. I don't even think that's not a wine. It's not even a wine glass. It's just a glass. You muppet. Gee whiz. It keeps taking me to your next stream. It's done it 3 times now. Strange. What? It's just randomly just sent you over to the next game. That's weird. Eric says Sharks going to pull a Panthers on today's game. Well, what? Contextually, this is nothing like yesterday. So are you just saying basically the Sharks to lose? Because if you're saying the Sharks to lose, fair enough. But contextually, this game is completely different to what that game was last night. In every... There's not a single aspect that is similar between what the Panthers did last night and the Sharks could do today besides just like losing. Oh, great tape by Will Kennedy there inside the in goal. It's going to be a 7-tackle save for the Sharkies. That's massive. Oh, they're not onside. Yeah, that's lazy from the Sharks. They've got to get back quicker to provide Will Kennedy an outlet to get that play off quick. And the Sharkies 0 tackle at 25. I'd say they'd stick with the old North colours, yeah. Thought you were on the red or something. Bloke's too bougie. No, I don't. I'm not a big wine drinker, man. I love a good beer. I'm going to actually have a brewski tonight, actually, but I've got to get up early tomorrow for the streams. But I'm not a big wine drinker, mate. I've never really gotten into the old wine. 3rd tackle now at the 48. They go to the right-hand side of McInnes. McInnes off to Adam Fenor-Blake, and Fenor-Blake's in at the 45 on 4th tackle. 4 tackles. Kennedy playing. Kennedy is playing. They go to the right-hand side here. Britton Nakora now. And Nakora will be at the 33 on 5th tackle. Can you believe, by the way, that Dylan Lucas was projected to get like 130 points in this game? That just didn't make any sense to me. On Supercoach, that is. And Ponga gets it. Great take there. Great take. What we got for Kazakh beers? I have no idea yet, Seb. I haven't had one yet. It's only my 3rd night tonight. 2nd tackle at 13. A couple of Kazakhstani bitters, mate. We'll try it. We'll try whatever we can. I'm just really excited to get into the mountains in a couple of weeks. That'll be really cool. So Crossland... What is he saying play on for, Klein? What's Klein talking about? Why is Klein saying play on there? No one thought there was no play on. And now they'll be 5th tackle at the 35. So not a great set there from Newcastle, but the Sharks aren't really doing a great deal themselves, but they'll get this ball to 22. Will Kennedy's having a really good start here, which is a nice sign. Because Will Kennedy, for mine, usually dictates where you will acknowledge what kind of game it's going to be for the Sharks. The Sharks are usually completely off when you see Will Kennedy make a couple of mistakes and they just look absolutely rough. They're usually completely off. But when he's on, the Sharks are typically on. He's a really good kind of medium ground there to understand what Sharks team you're going to be seeing today. 3rd tackle at the 48. And now do they go to the left-hand side? And Kyle Ero is going to be at 45. Is anybody else having these same problems with David, like David is? Because he's saying that he's just getting sent to the Roosters Storm stream a lot. They go to Tommy Hazleton, and Hazleton's going to be at the 28 now on 5th tackle. Oh, they get an offload away there. Blake Brayley, Braden Trindle. Trindle underneath now to Teague Wilton with a great run. 5th tackle at the 15. Sharks starting to open up a little bit more now. They go to the right to Trindle. Trindle's going to put this ball up left-hand side. Molitalo. Knocked back here. Knocked back. Will Kennedy. Try time. Try time for Will Kennedy. I think it's a try. They may check if Molitalo bumps into Dom Young here. But what did I say? When Will Kennedy's on, Sharky's usually on. And Will Kennedy's been the one to score here. 4-4 here with a kick to come. Stream's all good. Yeah, David, I'm not too sure, man. Maybe you have to refresh yourself, or maybe I'm going to do it. You're going to hate it, but maybe turn it off and on again. Because I don't know. I don't think anybody else is having any problems. But the Sharkies, this was nice. I just want to see Molitalo here in terms of his contest with Dom Young. I just want to see this contest with Dom Young here. And yeah, they both go up for the ball. It's fine. No, this is a fine try. This is a fine try. So it'll be 4-4 with a kick to come. They're both going up for it. And well, it's dropped by Dom Young there. No, this is fine. This should be fine. It's a knock-on from Dom Young regardless, but There's no way you can say Mulitalo does anything wrong there. So will that be a try assist to Mulitalo? Or is that... I don't know if that's... They're both going up for the ball. This is a try. It should be a try, Bunker. We shouldn't even be looking at it still. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but this should be a try. It goes backwards there anyway. Like, if you're saying it touches Mulitalo, it goes backwards there from him regardless. And then that. It's all backwards. Nothing's gone forward there. No, try time. Confirmed try. I was going to say, that took way too long for mine. That was pretty obviously just a try. Anyway, try time for Will Kennedy. It's 4 forward to get to come. So, yeah, Mulitalo will get the try assist there. Ziggy says, I pressed to optimize on Supercoach and imagine my surprise 5 minutes before the game that Lucas was my captain. Yeah, so strange, eh? Like, it's predicting that he gets 124, 125 odd points. I just don't understand, Ziggy. How has Dylan Lucas projected that in a game like this, where the Sharks defensively are a 5th defensive team? They gave up 0 points last week to a Dolphins team that is better on the attack. Yeah, that plays out, but gave no points up to them. Dylan Lucas is projected that much? Like, there has to be a reason for that. I don't understand. But it's not like a big deal. It's just confusing. Can you believe the Knights survived 10 minutes without an error? Jake, it's a surprise, but also well done to him. But Sharkies hit the kicking at 6-4. And now big Tommy Hazelton. He'll bring it out of the 15 now on first tackle. Give Dom Young the assist. Nah, Dom Young drops it, but then Mulitalo definitely passes the ball. He definitely passed it. Shim Kenskoy looks like the one. Is that a good one, is it? Is that a good one? Seb, I don't know if you have Instagram, but if you do, can you actually message me that so I don't forget about it? Or maybe I'll do... I don't have a pen or paper. My phone's on charge on the other side of the room. Remind me later. If you're here for the... Are you going to be here for the final stream today between the Storm and Roosters? Remind me later. Or if you have Instagram, message me it, and I'll definitely try it tonight, and I'll put it on a vlog for BK Travel. Braden Trindle here, fit tackle. Nico Hines will run it up, and then they kick this ball up here. Good chase from Britton Nakora, putting pressure on. That's a knock-on. Oh, maybe it's play... No, it is going to be a 7-tackle set here. Oh, they're playing the knock-on? Well, why though? Because I see them play the 7-tackle set a lot. He's actually... Oh, yeah, it is a knock-on. Comes off the arm. But also, usually they'll say that the biggest benefit there is the Knights with the 7-tackle set. So I'm not too sure why the Knights are receiving the knock-on. Or they are giving the 7-tackle set. What's happening here? Has he changed his call? Okay, no, so they have done what I've just said. Ashley Klein just said they were going to play the knock-on, but then they have... No, it's the first tackle. What's happening right now? I don't even understand. Thanks, Seb. I'll have a look at it after, and I'll be sure to try it out. Shim Kenskoy. Third tackle at the 38 for the Knights. It's only doing it on phone, not TV. I've logged out of everything. Yeah, strange, David. But we'll see you for the Storm Roosters game. How about that? How about that one? 4th tackle at 42. You're just going to be there a couple of hours early. An hour and 40 minutes before we start that stream up. Hey, bro, in New Zealand, currently 8:20 p.m. here. Well, there you go. Get around in New Zealand. It is 1:20 p.m. for me. So 7 hours in front of me. You are. That's going to be Will Kennedy. Grabs that ball to 10. Gives him plenty of space to get a run to the 20 as well. Dane Gagai takes him down, but just not enough of a chase there for the Knights. At the very least, with Britton Nakora, you did see him actually give it a crack in regards to chasing that ball down. Ziggy says, the refereeing is wild this year. No one knows what's going on. That's kind of every year, but yeah, definitely. My biggest issue, though, is that people, because the refereeing is inconsistent, people will always really fight hard to say that the game was refereed perfectly if they receive beneficial calls, but yet will be the biggest advocates for referee hate when the calls go against their team. And it's like nowadays referees are never going to be held accountable because no matter what, people will complain about the refs even when the referees were fine. And then when the referees aren't fine, it's the same kind of criticism that you're seeing from when the referees were fine. So the NRL's like, well, we're lose here regardless. So it's like, we don't give a shit. So there's nothing that needs to be done because overall people are just going to complain that suits their agenda, which takes away from the genuine criticism of refereeing incidents. For example, last night was a big example. With that being said, there was a forward pass that was missed in the lead up to the Katapani try, not the Reece Walsh pass. That was a great pass. But, knock on Dylan Lucas. That's going to be hard to get that 124 points. And Will Kennedy here on the run. That's a great play, great pass. And Sione Katoa now. He brings his ball to the 40 on 0 tackle. Dylan Lucas just got chopped in half. It's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to get any form of accountability because people will never give the referee credit where credit's due. We do it here where I'll say, like, if the referee has a good game, Ashley Klein hasn't done anything wrong so far. There's a knock-on from the Sharks, and the Knights now will get this ball at the 45 on 0 tackle. Bad mistake there from Cronulla. But when a referee doesn't do anything wrong, don't just look for the blame of the referee because then it takes away from the legitimate cause of criticism when something actually happens. This isn't a you, Ziggy. This is the conversation that you brought up. This is anybody in general. Second tackle for the Knights. They're going to be 18 metres away from the Sharkies line. 20 minutes to go the first half. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. If the Sharks lose, they're back on scam. 100%, Michael. You can't win 66-0 1 week away and then come home and then lose the following week. Quick passing. Greggy Matsiu. Try time for the Knights. And that's an awful try to concede there from Cronulla. That is such an unearned try from the Knights, but the Cronulla Sharks have just given up an absolute freebie there. The Knights knock the ball onto the 40, and the Sharks then bring it to the 50, 10 metres away, and then proceed to knock the ball on. Oh, there should have been a penalty for Cronulla when Kennedy dropped that ball. That should have been a penalty to Cronulla. This is actually even more unearned try. The Knights have scored here off the back of a bad call. That was definitely a high tackle from the Knights on Will Kennedy that they completely missed just then. Jess says nothing yet, Seb. Only just looking at the game. It works, so couldn't be the kickoff. We'll keep an eye on things and then decide. Get around your Jess. Yeah, that's harsh there for the Sharks because after that knock-on from Newcastle, Will Kennedy has dropped that ball in the tackle that he has been contacted high with. That's rough there, but 8-6 to the Knights with 19 minutes to go here of the first half. Being a ref is like being a man in a relationship. You can't win whether you're right or wrong. It's true, David. You are right there. You are right there. Just as we were talking about officiating too and actually relatively defending it while still being critical, you see that call not get made. You see that call not get made as we're conversating like that. Conversing, whatever the word is. Taj says, what's the score? Yeah, I know it's a really difficult one to read right now. A really difficult one, even though the score is quite literally on the screen in front of you. But Kanaponga will miss the kick, hits the post, and it will stay 8 points to 6. There is no wind around. So that first kick, he went with a curler and it curled across. This kick, he went for a straight one and hit the post. Ziggy says, I agree with you completely. I notice all the fans say the NRL isn't listening, the fans, about refereeing, but how are they supposed to do that when every fan has a changing opinion week to week? The NRL can't listen. It's not possible for the NRL to listen because everybody will... For example, last night, Panthers fans believe it was a rort. Broncos fans believe it was perfect. We are kind of in a middle ground. The neutrals will have actually lumped on the Panthers bandwagon, weirdly enough. But there is a neutral ground here where it's like the Katapani call in terms of him going over the sideline was probably going to be a penalty, but also I would have debated it, but he's also surrendered, so it's like, okay, that should have been a penalty. But also, you can criticize the bunker in terms of ignoring the on-field referee, Todd Smith, saying there's a lot of confusion there. There is some bad calls that happened. There is some great calls that happened. Some of the great calls are being criticised and some of the bad calls are being criticised. And it just gets warped on extremes when there is a middle ground of, look, the pass prior to the Katapani try was probably forward there from the Broncos. But the Reece Walsh pass was fine. So people are criticising the Walsh pass. They're not talking about the previous tackle of the pass in the lead up to that try. I think it might have been a Payne Haas or somebody else. I can't remember. But people are looking at the wrong one. They're looking at the wrong pass. And it's like, that's taking away from that. And people are just so confusing, man. It's so confusing. And the NRL will never be held accountable because people will complain about the wrong things at the wrong time, which then takes away from the right things at the right time. So they go to the right-hand side. One of our UK trip people has made a bet of $5,000 at 26 for the Broncos to make the 8. Well, it's a stupid bet, Olivia. They need to win 7 out of their next 7, and there's also no guarantee that they make it still, because that would be still points differential, where their points differential is still minus 124 or whatever at the Broncos. They would need to win 7 out of their remaining 7 games. They still have some very good teams to play. And you need to rely upon the fact that this comp this year doesn't have 34 points as a necessity to make the 8, because if it's 34 points, you guys are already eliminated mathematically. If it's 32 points, it's still definitely no guarantee, and you would have to win every single game. That's a ridiculous $5,000 bet to make. That's ridiculous. But like, good luck to him. Good luck to him. But the $5,000 that's a crazy bet to make for a team that needs everything to go their way from here on out. And again, there is a slight potential that 34 points is what you need to make the 8 this year. Because last year at this time, the top 8 was on 22 points. This year, they're on 24 points. They're going to let this ball bounce here, the Knights. Sharks get it. And then Hiroti will be taken down to 25. So it's going to be... Oh, Adam Fennell-Blake's come off the field here for the Sharks. God bless him. Hope he's okay. Just another human says, hope try scorers keep firing arrows for the rest of the season in support of Jai and all affected. Well, it's Jai July, so it's not going to happen, but Jai July is happening. Edson says, yeah, I wish the Broncos would make the 8. We're just not. Yeah, look, 5,000 could be chump change to that person. Like, that $5,000 bet for that person could be like a $20 bet for us, or $50 bet for us, or a $100 bet for us. Don't dictate the fact that it's 5,000 as if like that's life-changing money, because for them it might not be. But with that being said, it's just a ludicrous bet. It's just ridiculous. Like, they're still 7 wins away from 32 points. Dylan Brown out to the right-hand side. They go out to Dane Gagai, who'll be taken down here at the 25 on fit tackle. And now Dylan Brown's going to put this ball up here at the 20. Kicks this one across to Bradman Best. Throws it back. Fletcher Sharp. Well, that's an obstruction. That's a penalty. That's just ridiculous there from Fletcher Sharp. You've seen that the obstruction was coming, and then you still played it on. It's a penalty to the Sharks. Bunny says we have 7 more rounds to go before final start. Time really scares me, man. Yeah, only 7 more rounds. Well, 8 more rounds, including this one. 8 more rounds, including this one. Round 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So there's 8 more rounds. We're only the second game of the 8th round here, man. There's only the second game of 8 rounds to go. We have 7 more. That's right. Olivia said it's crazy, but it's a laugh. See, that's the thing, and that makes it a little bit better, Olivia, because that now makes sense to me that $5,000 is probably to them like a $50 bet or a $100 bet or a smaller bet, like a normal bet for everybody else. 5,000 might be normal for them, kind of deal. If it's a laugh and you're betting 5,000, it means that person's obviously quite wealthy, and they can do whatever they want with their money. Like, I don't care. Like, they can do whatever they want with it. It's a loss, but like, sure. 6 again here. And Teague Wilton will get this ball to the 28. They should have just donated it here. I would have given them better odds. I would have given them 1,000,000 to 1 odds. How about that? Second tackle. They should have donated here for a bet, and I would have gone with a bigger odds than the bookies. They go to the right hand side. Blake Brayley knock on here. I think from Ponga. Either way, it's going to be a dropout. A knock on would have been better, actually. Is it a dropout or is it a knock on? No, it is going to be 10 metres out. Knock on from Callum Ponga at the 10. If each game is a coin flip, then the Broncos have a 0.8% chance of making the 8. Yeah, and obviously each game isn't a coin flip. But yeah, that makes it even worse. Joe, makes it even worse. More chance of 5K in Spain on Monday. Well, that's a good game. Spain versus Argentina is a good game. I still feel like Argentina... I predicted Spain before the World Cup started, but... I don't know why. It's just so hard to go against Messi. Got a Messi. Got a Messi. Siena Katoa. What is that defense from the Knights? What was that, Newcastle? That was awful defense. That was worse than the Sharks one. But anyway, 10-8 to the Sharks with 30 minutes to go the first half. Knights defense just opened up right next to the scrum. Crazy. MM says up the wires. Yeah, we'll be live for them tomorrow against the Dragons. Goal. Cut a Messi. Try. Siena Katoa. Cut a Messi. Where was Ponga? Well, you can't even blame Ponga for that. Like, that's not really Ponga's fault, but overall, where is Ponga? But Dylan Lucas completely over chases on that. Fletcher Sharp was well outside. Missed tackle in the middle, and Brabham Best can't do it. Can't blame them. Overall, it's just a complete shambles from the Knights. It's not even just Callum Ponga. It's a complete shambles from the Knights there. That was actually dreadful. It just opened up. It just opened up like a buddy knife through warm butter. 6-game mates of South Sydney super fan Latrell Mitchell is South Sydney super fan Latrell Mitchell is sidelined for another 2 to 3 weeks. Dude, I love Trell, man. Like, he's such an incredible player to watch, but gee whiz. Like, Bunnies, if I keep saying you've got a chance to win the comp next year, but Trell needs to be fit. And my gosh, he is always on the sideline. You know, people talk about Tom Trbojevic. Tom Trbojevic is nowhere near on the sidelines as much as you see from Latrell Mitchell. Latrell Mitchell is way more injury prone than Tom Trbojevic. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Jess with the 2-pound donation. Get around your Jess. 11.5 first half Sharks. Fire it up, Jess. Fire it up. Fire it up. Get around you. It's awesome to hear you slapping it down again. Just Another Human says, there it is. There's that schmozzle we call defense. There is the schmozzle. Just Another Human. That is the schmozzle. And you don't want to be allowing a team that scored 66 points last week to be having that kind of an opening. No. Seb says, Trell got a goal channel. He's now playing NRL so little. And again, this isn't me insulting Trell, because I genuinely believe when he's playing centre, when he's in the game, he's one of the best players in the game. He's an incredible player to watch, man. Just incredible. The issue is we don't get to watch him. The issue is we do not get to see him play. I think genuinely, I genuinely think if he wasn't injury prone as he is, now people might call me crazy for this. I think if he didn't waste a few years, that's a penalty. But Sione Katoa's deliberately played with this penalty, but it is a penalty. Katoa's been having a great run these last couple of weeks. Penalty here for going past the horizontal, but Katoa knows exactly what he's doing there. But it's technically the right call. I will make a bit bold call here and say that if Trell didn't waste his time in fullback and played centre his career and wasn't as injury prone, I do think that he would actually go down in a similar level to Greg Inglis over the years. I think if it's a big call, and I can see why people might call me crazy, but I think that if he had stayed in the same position that he was at the Roosters, if he had stayed at the Roosters, or even at the Rabbitohs, if he had played centre, like I just think that he might have gone down as the guy that people thought he was going to be going into his. I think he would have gone down in that same kind of echelon. Latrell never plays close to a full season since being at South. Yeah, I would agree. Sharks here. Teague Wilton, 5 metres out from the line. Fit tackle. Blake Brayley, left-hand side. Nico Hines underneath. Oh, that's a great try-saving tackle there of Billy Burns. Oh, it's a penalty for a high tackle. Penalty for a high tackle. Don't go for the 2 here, Sharks. Go for the try. 10 minutes to go the first half here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Tiger Hood says you're crazy. Well, tell me why I'm crazy. Do you think... Okay, how about this? If you... Right now, Latrell Mitchell in the game, at the beginning of this year, Latrell Mitchell was guaranteed a Dally M Centre of the Year spot. At the beginning of this year, did you think that Latrell Mitchell was playing as the best centre in the game alongside a guy like Herbie Farnworth kind of deal? I think you probably did. But answer that. When he's fit and healthy and your team is playing him, are you terrified of coming up against Latrell Mitchell in regards to your team? So the Sharkies aren't going for the 2-pointer there, so that's great to see. Oregon Kafusi, 2 metres out from the line, second tackle. And that's the question I have for you, and then I'll go on with it. They go to the right, Braden Trindle. Trindle off to Nico Hines. Nico Hines off to... That was stupid there from Cronulla. That was stupid from Cronulla. It's 0 tackle for the Knights at the 5. What are they doing? It's going to be scrum at the 10. What are the Sharks doing? Nico Hines. That's not even Sione Katoa's fault. This is on Nico Hines here. Why is he passing this ball? Just take the tackle, dude. It was never on. It was never on. Nico, you were never going over the sideline. That pass was never on. Seb says, Trell's a top 3 player in the league when he's fit. Exactly. So what I'm saying is, if you think that he's a top 3 player in the league right now when he's fit, right now, what I've said is remove him playing fullback at the Rabbitohs for many years and keep him in the centre, or you can put him in the Roosters permanently as a centre. So either Roosters permanently centre over there, or at the Rabbitohs, he stayed in centre his entire career. And then obviously remove the injury prone. I think he'll come to a similar level of Greg Inglis. I do. I think you would. Because that's what he was projected to be when he was coming into the comp too, mind you. Do you think he's as dynamic as Inglis? The thing that would have taken Inglis to a different level would have been his diversity in terms of he can play 5'8", he can play fullback, he can play wing, he could play centre. He could play anywhere in the back line, whilst Latrell can't. So that would be the only difference. But I think that in terms of like fear factor and quality and whatnot, I do think that you would have seen a similar wavelength between the two of them. Turbo, 87 career missed games. Latrell, 80 career missed games. Cheers. Okay, so yeah, Trell more. But also, most of those Trebojevic games missed were probably a bit more earlier in his career, no? Third tackle now for the Knights, still on Lucas. He'll be at the 50. Ziggy says, that's not that crazy of a thing to say. If he was less injury-prone, stayed fit like he was at the Chooks, he was actually terrifying. Exactly. And again, he was playing centre rather than fullback. Fullback wasn't his position. Whilst Greg Inglis was a great fullback and great centre and did well in the 5'8". He got to the left to Fletcher Sharp to Callum Ponga, knocked the ball on. That's a knock on from the Newcastle of the Knights. And there's the error that you were waiting for, just another human. There is the error that you were looking for. Jason said, I don't like the guy, but if Latrell didn't have injuries, he's the most dangerous player in the game, daylight second. Exactly. So can you see where I'm coming from in the terms of I'd put him on a similar wavelength to Greg Inglis if all those things, and this is all hypotheticals, but if all those things came to play. But then again, I would still give it to Inglis because he's more diverse. I don't think it's as crazy as people may think. Other Bunny says, at least Inglis coming at the end of his career still gave it his all. Sure, but what's that got to do with the conversation? Sure. Just Under Human says, what is actually happening? You know exactly what's happening, mate. You're here every week. You watch the same game as we do, and you know exactly why you're on Fraudulent. You know exactly why, sir. However, Peru, he's going to be the 30 on third tackle. This will get scary if the Sharks score here. He doesn't play the ball properly there. He didn't play the ball properly. Should have been a turnover. Nikora is going to be the 20 on fourth tackle. Don't start me, Daz. Don't do it. Nico Hines, he'll get the offload away to Oregon Kafusi, and he's going to be 9 meters out from the line. I'd go left-hand side. Yeah, they do. They go left-hand side. Trindle, short. Oh, my gosh. Oh, it's a penalty to the Sharks. It was a knock-on from Cronulla. What's the penalty for here? Teague Wilton has been rocked and knocked that ball on. I'd consider the 2 now, Sharks. With 6 minutes to go, I'd consider it. GI and Darren Lockyer in my top 3 on the blue. Damn. Okay, who's the other one then? Oh, you're going to say Andrew Johns. There's no way you don't have Cameron Smith in your top 3. Neutral-wise. Inside 10 meters, yeah. They're going to go for the... Hines wants the 2. Trindle wants the try. I like that from Trindle. I think it's probably a smart decision to take the 2, though. Thomas says Sharks whenever would have come with Hines. He's consistently inconsistent. Don't necessarily disagree. Jason says definitely he can kick and pass like a half. And he says it's been pretty good. Oh, there's another conversation. Knights are playing to script early try and then errors. Yeah, that's true, Seb. Jason says the play you should be comparing Latrell to is Jared Hayne. No way. No, I think they're different. Because Jared Hayne's more so known as a fullback. Greg Inglis is more so known as a centre, but also played fullback and also played 5'8". Jared Hayne is known as a fullback and a winger. He wasn't really known as a centre. Why would I be comparing Latrell Mitchell to Jared Hayne? Jared Hayne's not known as a centre. Greg Inglis was known as a centre. Or a fullback. So you got Jared Hayne, who's known as 2 positions in the back line, but not the one of Trell, whilst at least with Inglis, he is known primarily, like I would say primarily, people think of Greg Inglis as a centre over fullback as well. Why would you compare with Jared Hayne? Andrew says they were hot to play the ball at the start of the season. Seems they just let it go now. Yeah, agree. They do this quite regularly. So they get the conversion here, the penalty. It's 14 points to 8 for the Sharkies with 4 minutes to go of the first half. Mikey says, I love the fact that we all broke and watching this channel because we refused to pay $30 for KO. Hey, listen, you know, I appreciate you for tuning in. We do have a lot of regulars here that they watch it because they actually do enjoy the commentary compared, but I also appreciate people like yourself who will tune in just to kind of say screw you for charging us too much. The Sharkies now going to bring this ball to the 15 on Oregon Kafusi on first tackle. 4 minutes to go now to first half. And Kyle Ero. Oh, so I think Adam Fanua Blake is actually allowed to come back on. They gave him the thumbs up, so he'll be fine. It's a big relief there for Cronulla. However, Peru will be at the 30 on third tackle. People watching this game, no people are watching this game, Mikey, and can afford KO, but you do you. To be fair, most of our viewers do actually have KO. They just use us as the commentaries because obviously we can talk about it, right? We can talk rather than listening to Blocker Roach, who is, mind you, commentating this game. Fifth tackle now at the 44. And they'll kick this at the 40. Did he put his foot out first here, Kanaponga? Yeah, he did. So it's out in the fall here from the Sharks. Kanaponga, lucky he put his foot out first. And yeah, he definitely does. Really smart play there from Ponga. He doesn't need to catch it. All right, so first tackle here for the Knights. They're at the 35 on 3 minutes to go the first half. A try here would be huge for them. It's not been a great first half from the Knights. It hasn't even been that great from the Sharks, but they have been the better team so far. They go to the left, Fletcher Sharp to Trey Mooney, and Trey Mooney's going to be at the 24 now on third tackle. They're going to go short side here, they look like. No, they're going to go back to the open. Off to Crouch, and then Brodie Jones at the 15 on fourth tackle. A try here would be crucial, Newcastle. It'd send it in. It's maybe tied up at half time. Dylan Brown slips over. It'll be fifth tackle at the 10. Not much going on here, but they'll go open side to the left. Crossland, Kalen Ponga. Ponga kicks this ball through. I don't think that's played at. Oh, they're going to say that's played at. I don't think he played at that. Like, he wasn't trying to charge the ball down. And he's just kind of get away from it. Yeah, that was going nowhere close. That was definitely going to be a 7 tackle set for the Sharks. Damn, I don't know if that was played at, but I'd like to see that again. 3 meters away, and they're going to give it off to Lachlan Crouch. And Crouch can be second tackle. Knights, you get very, very lucky there. I'd like to see that again. Second tackle, 3 meters away. Short ball, and Brodie Jones going to be 3 meters out, third tackle. Phoenix Crossland out the back here. Dylan Brown, Fletcher Sharp, Dylan Lucas. Try time, Dylan Lucas. He will score. You got very lucky there, Newcastle. Very, very lucky. But Dylan Lucas will score. I tell you what, the Knights have been very lucky for both of their tries in this game. Oh, no. So have they scored 3 times? No, they got a penalty. No, they did score. Yeah, that's right. They haven't got a conversion. So the Knights will score here. They go to the left-hand side. Fletcher Sharp to Dylan Brown. Poor defense there from Cronulla. The Knights have been very lucky here in two of their tries. But they do get over the line. And it will be Dylan Lucas with the try time. He's done nothing in this half so far too, so really good to see him get over the line. Sharks defense tonight is a little off. It can be. That's what the Sharks do. This is why we always have our concerns about them. They're not consistent. They are not consistent as a team. That's why 66-0 last week was no guarantee they'd win this game this week. If Palmer got his kicks, they would be on 18 points. Correct, yeah, they'd be leading if they got their kicks. They would be leading. But obviously not to be so far. This is going over 45 total points, probably. All right. So 3 seconds to go the first half. Can Palmer get this kick? It'll be tied up at half time. It will not be. He's missed it again. He's missed all 3 of his kicks. It's 14-12 Sharks. Oh my gosh, Kalen Ponga has a nightmare with the boot. He's missed all 3 of his kicks, and it's still 14-12 to the Sharks. Damn, that changes the halftime chat. You would have been so happy, considering how poor overall the Knights have been this half. Been very lucky for 2 of their tries. You would have been really taken a 14-14, but 14-12, you're just like, well, shit, the Knights have actually scored more tries here, but they are losing. So that 2-pointer that they took with Nicho Hynes taking it has worked out to be an absolute treat. But anyway, half-time here, 14-12. Let's get into the stats and let's see how it's all playing out here. So Sharkies 14, Knights 12. This is Ocean Protect Stadium in Sydney. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. William Kennedy and Sienna Katoa with the tries for the Sharkies. Nicho Hynes 2 from 2 and Hynes the penalty goal. That is what's winning them the game right now. Knights on 12. Kalen Ponga, Greg Marty, and Dylan Lucas with tries, 0 from 3 on conversions. Obviously, have not had a penalty goal. Then you go to the possession, 47% possession to the Sharkies, 53% to the Knights, so slightly in favour of Newcastle. And go to the time possession, and this is disappointing. So 25 minutes is the threshold that you're looking for. 11 minutes and 16 is what the Sharks have got. 13 minutes and 5 seconds is what the Knights have got. That's 24 minutes and 21 seconds. That's not a great half of possession at all. So that's quite low. You'd like to be seeing a lot more footy in play here. Now, completion rate, 80% is what you're looking for. Cronulla, 78%. Nothing to really hone in on, but it's also not quite 80%. 15 from 19. Whilst the Knights, very, very good. 88%, 16 from 18. You are not complaining with that one whatsoever. The Knights aren't actually making too many errors here. You go to the runs. 79 runs for the Sharks. Really low, 605 run meters. That is 185 run meters behind the 10 meters an average per run that you're looking for. You're looking for 790 meters from 79 runs. They're at 605. That is a hefty, hefty difference there of 185. Whilst the Knights, they're at 84 runs for 704 run meters. So what you'd be looking for is 840 meters here. They're at 704. So they're 136 meters behind the 10 meters an average per run. You want to be within the 100. So both teams aren't actually doing too much in regards to the run meter department on either side, but the Knights are in front of it. Now it's 83 for 698 for the Knights. That's 184 for 704. 136, whatever. So the point of the matter is that neither team is really doing an amazing amount on the ball, but the Knights are doing slightly better with it. Post-contact meters, 209 here for the Sharks, 249 for the Knights. It's only 5 runs the difference. The Knights are dominating this. You're not getting 40-plus post-contact meters in 5 runs for the most part. So the Knights are dominating that. Line breaks, 4-1 Newcastle. Sharks, the fact that they're leading right now is actually crazy. But also on the eye test, it didn't look like that. On the eye test, the Sharks were okay, but they're nothing special. But they don't look like they're getting dominated like this. 4 line breaks to 1 Newcastle is actually significant. Tackle breaks, though, 12 for the Sharks is actually still very good defense from the Knights, and 10 for the Knights is very good defense there from the Sharks. But also, if you've watched this game, it's been quite lucky in terms of the Knights scoring a couple of those tries, but they've still scored 3 tries compared to the 2 of Cronulla. But the Sharks' defense is probably going to end up being better when you look at it. After it's now 11 tackle breaks there, but very low amount of missed tackles from both teams there. Now, average set distance, this tells you a story. 25 metres and below is pathetic, turn the stream off. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is basically perfect. 31.87 here for the Sharks. That's underwhelming. Mid to low range, not good enough there from Cronulla. 38.92 for the Knights. That is mid to high range of hitting the job, hitting the marker category. That is a 7-meter swing in favour of Newcastle. So it's okay from the Knights. It's really underwhelming there from the Sharks. And there's a pretty significant gap there in regards to the average set distance. Now, in regards to the average play the ball speed, 3.19 seconds and below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. And 3.8 and above is extremely slow. 3.23 seconds for the Sharks is fast, getting close to extremely fast there. So they are playing the ball quite well here. Blake Brayley is getting some good movement in regards to the speed of the game. The Knights, 3.75. That is slow, getting very close to extremely slow. That's wild behavior. You know, that is... Yeah, that's... Actually, sorry, is that 3.4 to 3.59 average, 3.6 to 3.79? Yeah, so it is slow, getting close to the... extremely slow category. There is, now it's 3.73. There is a gap of half a second right now. A gap of half a second. That is insane. That is a significant gap. Actually, not even half a second. Yeah, no. Yeah, half a second. That's a massive gap in terms of the play the ball speed here in favour of the Sharks. Offloads 3-1 to Cronulla. Quite low for both teams, especially from Newcastle. Kick defusal, 33% for the Sharks, 20% for the Knights. Now, this is where it's crazy because you go to the effective tackle percentage, and we've noted the Sharks have been really off defensively today on their own line, but overall, they're actually defending really well here. So effective tackle percentage, 85% below is awful, 85% to 88% is underwhelming, 88% to 90% is hitting the marker, and 90% above is basically perfect. Sharks are at 93.87%. That's extremely good. That is fantastic. 199 tackles made is above the typical range of 160 to 180 by 19. Missed tackles is 12, so that they've upgraded from the 10 to the 12 now. That's below the average of 15 to 17. Missed tackles, very good. 3 missed tackles, less than the average, amazing. And the ineffective tackles is 1. That's even better. 5 to 7 is the average. They're only 1. 13 bad tackles in the first half with a whopping 199 tackles made. That's an incredible stat there for the Sharks at 93.87%. Whilst for the Knights, they're at 90.61%, which is also fantastic. 164 tackles made is in the typical range of 160 to 180. The missed tackles is the same as the Sharks at 12, so 3 below the average. And the ineffective tackles is 5, so on the average of 5 to 7. So 17 bad tackles for the Knights with a typical range of 164, 90.61, very good. Sharks, amazing with those stats there. And now we go across here to the negative play. Not amazing from the Sharks. 3 and below is really good. 4 to 6 is average, and 7 above is awful. 7 errors for the Sharkies is awful. That is not good enough there. They should be losing this game based off the fact that the Knights have scored 3 tries compared to the Sharks 2, but the Knights have missed all 3 of their conversions, whilst the Knights have 4 errors. That's in the average category on the lower end. So 7-4 in terms of the errors. Not good enough there from Cronulla, but not good enough from the Knights. Penalties conceded 4-0. The Knights have given away all their penalties so far. The ruck infringements 2-1 against the Sharks, and on report is 1-0. So infringements-wise, it's 5-2 against the Knights, but also they have been legitimate. Sione Katoa did play for a penalty before and got it, but it was a legitimate penalty. Overall, like the Knights, you have every opportunity to win this game, and Sharks, you have every opportunity to win this game because you've actually not been great statistically. Statistically, the Sharks are actually getting done here, but yet they're still winning 14-12 because they can't make a kick, the Knights. So I couldn't even tell you who wins this game. I'm still going to back in my pre-game selection of Sharkies 1-12. But Sharks, actually, you know what worries you, Knights fans? You know what should really concern you? Sharks in second halves recently have been blistering. Sharks have been electric in second halves recently. And I'll show you why. Hold on, let's go to the stats. They're probably the best second half 10-minute comp right now. So against the Dolphins, they were up at halftime 24-0. They won 66-0. So by the end of the game, in the second half, they'd scored 42 points compared to 24 in the first half. That was just last week. The game against the Broncos, I think, was actually relatively even. So it was 10-6 at halftime to the Sharks. And then by the end of the game, it was 28-16. So they gave 10 points, but they also scored 18 points. So again, they won the second half there and were much the better team in the second half. And then you go to the Roosters game. That wasn't great. Warriors game wasn't exactly fantastic, but they were up 8-6 at halftime and they finished 10-8. So it was actually just 2-2 in the second half there of that game. It was an awful game, really. It was close, but awful. Anyway, they were down to the Dragons at halftime. When it was 12-6 Dragons, they ended up winning 34 points to 12. That was a significant turnaround there. That was significant. So you are seeing a recent record of the Sharks having blistering second halves. The Manly game wasn't great. The second half, Manly did win that one, but obviously the Sharks won the game. That's because they dominated the first half so much. Yeah, long story short, this Sharks team is a very good second half team. Whilst the Knights, I feel like you're a poor second half team. Obviously, I can remember that Roosters game earlier on this year, but that was a while ago now. I can also remember the Panthers game. I think second half last week, you're actually the better team against the Rabbitohs, though, which is at least a good shining light there for you. You weren't great in the second half against the Dolphins. You weren't great in the second half against the Tigers. You did score probably the only points there, though. Hold on. Yeah, you did. I guess you were the better team in that one. So you're actually not a bad second half team, but it's just like those games are just like icky. Very icky to talk about. Yeah, Dragons actually won the second half against you Knights. Actually, how'd that Storm Knights game go? 14-12 at halftime, 32-30. So both similar teams there. I wouldn't say the Knights are known as a second half team, but it's not like they're complete drop-offs. They're not complete drop-offs, but I would be concerned because the Sharks in the second halves have been, blistering recently. Eden says, I watched KO while listening to BKR, but in New Zealand there's no KO and I'm not paying $30 for Sky Sports, so I'm full on the BKR commentary this week and just imagine the tries happening as he calls it. Get around you, Edson. Appreciate you for tuning in. This is going to have 45 total points. Probably. I would say so. Probably. 20 points in the second half. I could definitely see it. Knights like the Cowboys just trickling along next minute win and stay in the top 8. Wait, what? Sorry, what did you say? So, Knights like the Cowboys just trickling along next minute win and stay in the top 8. I have no idea what you're actually saying there. Ponga 8+ points, can't write this bullshit. Oh yeah, you'd be spewing right now, man. You'd be spewing. Nikhil said, if the Sharks go back on fraudulent tonight, it's going to be hilarious. They'll go on scam, mate. Nikhil, if they lose this game, they're going on scam because you can't win 66-0 1 week away to go home and then lose in front of your home fans the week after. It's not possible. That would just be the definition of scam. First impressions of Kazakhstan. Catch me if you can't. Check out BKR Travel. On Monday, you will see my first impressions of Kazakhstan. There is a video coming out on Monday of my first 48 hours in Kazakhstan where we explain all the different kinds of different things in this country that you'd be weirded out by, you'd feel strange to know, like things that you don't understand. You'll see it all on BKR Travel. So go subscribe over there on the other channel. Skippy Snack says, Newcastle looking more likely to go on with it. Stats and all my eye tests say Newcastle. I wouldn't necessarily say eye test has been unbelievable for Newcastle, but I would say that the stats definitely suggest Newcastle. Eye test, I feel like it's been 50-50, but sure, they've scored 3 tries in comparison. But I wouldn't necessarily agree with you. Again, second halves, the Sharks have been far better in recent weeks, in the last month and a half maybe, besides that Manly game. They're pretty good in second halves. So if the Knights don't come clicking on to the same level as the first half, because this is the thing, you got to remember, going into half time, they scored a try right on half time, but not leading at half time to start scoring 3 tries. It's like you feel confident, but you're also just feeling shit because you're like, how are we not winning this game right now? Mindset down. You don't want the mindset to ever be down. You don't want it to be down ever. Isaiah says, I can't believe the Broncos beat the Panthers last night. I didn't tip the Broncos, but I did say that the Broncos would be up for it. Bunnies looked great versus Sharkies not that many weeks ago. Oh, well, that was about 2.5 months ago now, mate. That was like 2 months ago now. What do you mean not many weeks ago? That was ages ago. That was a while ago. Wasn't it? I swear it was ages ago. Sharks, Dolphins, Broncos, bye, Roosters, ages ago. Warriors, Dragons, Manly, bye, Bulldogs. Bro, that was on the 9th of May. That was over 2 months ago. It was 2.5 months ago. What do you mean? What do you mean not too many weeks ago? Jaden says, by the way, when I said compare Latrell to Hayne, I'm talking about their skill set, like ball running and passing. Kicking and passing, both great finishers and playmakers. Sure, but I'd still compare him more Greg Inglis than Jared Hayne. As it says, I think the Knights' attack keeps them in most games this season, but the defense can let them down in critical times of the game. Yep. Talk about some subsidy travel channel, get around you. Yeah, a few weeks, like I said. But 2.5 months is not a few weeks ago. That's like, to be fair, that's like when people say, oh yeah, the other day I was having this conversation, and it's like the other day was a year and a half ago. Yeah, the other day. Yeah, I was in India the other day. It was over a year ago now. When I was in India the other day. Buddy rolling around Delhi and Udaipur. But anyway, second half is about to start here. It's 14-12 to the Sharks. Yeah, 2.5 months and 40 is quite a long time, man. As it says, no upbeat for the Sharkies could affect their middle terms of rotation. They said he was fine to play. What are you talking about? Commentary said he was okay to come back on. I think Dragons capable of beating the Wires. It'll be tough in New Zealand. I disagree. But we'll see. So the Sharkies, they're going to be receiving this ball in the second half. The Knights are going to be kicking this one off. Let's see if the Sharks will go back on scam or if the Knights will prove their fraudulent status. Braden Trillin is a turn up. He had a brilliant game last week. He really did. He had a brilliant game last week. And they will kick this ball off. So the Knights down to the Sharkies at the 5. And it will be Will Kennedy who gets that ball back onto the inside for Oregon Kafusi out of the 20 on first tackle. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. They go out to the left and Sione Katoa. He started off really well. Hasn't really done a great deal since. They haven't even gotten the ball down Molatalo's side much today, to be fair. Oh, that's a high tackle. Yep, there's the penalty. And it's a penalty to the Sharks. That's not a good start, Newcastle. Trey Mooney knew it immediately as well. He did apologise straight away. He knew that was going to be a penalty for a high tackle. He knew that was coming. Yeah, it's just unfortunate Billy Burns is coming down there. There's mitigation, but it's unfortunate. Oh, jeez. Kylie Rowe nearly knocked that ball on first tackle. But it will be Sharkies at the 42. They'll get the first attack of this second half. It's crazy to see them leading right now in regards to 14-12, considering they've conceded 3 tries to 2. That 2-point penalty for Nico was so important for him to go for the 2. Third tackle now at the 25 on third tackle. And that's going to be a knock-on for Britt Nakora. That's so bad, bro. That's so lazy. Britt Nakora has been so disappointing for a year now. And honestly, I just can't believe he even actually made Origin. But he has been so disappointing for a year now. That's lazy there from Britt Nakora. And I don't even know why he's tried to claim that this is a penalty. Lucky they didn't challenge it, because it would have been a lost challenge. It would have been a lost challenge. So Britt Nakora knocks it on, and now be a scrum feed here to Newcastle. 20 minutes in. 20 minutes. What, 20 minutes to go? What are you talking about? 40 minutes to go. 2 minutes in. And the Knights now get taken back here to the 5 or 15 on first tackle. A little bit all over the shop there. And now Greggy Martiu to the 25 on second tackle. Justin Holbrook, what's he said at halftime? Line speed and defense in particular. Well, to be fair, they've only missed a few tackles. They haven't made that many. They haven't been defensively poor here today, the Knights. Dylan Lucas, he'll get taken to the 37 or so on his own side of the field, 4 tackle. Yeah, that's fair. The 2 times the Sharks have scored 50 points this year, they have not backed it up the following week. They have lost the following week, haven't they? They won the first game against the Titans by 50, and then lost the next week 26-6 to the Panthers. And I'm pretty certain there was another game. Was there another game? Maybe not. Oh, that should be 6 again there for the Sharks, the 40. They didn't call it. Maybe not. Just that Titans game. No, the Tigers game. That's right. Yeah, then they won against the Tigers 52-10, then lost to the Rabbitohs 36-12. Yeah, so both times they've scored 50 this year, they've lost the following week. That is the definition of scam, bro. That is 100% the definition of scam. You need to win this game here today, Sharks. 4 tackle at the 50. That's a crazy stat to actually say. That is a crazy stat. Now get the offload away here. And now out to the left-hand side for Teague Wilton. Teague Wilton taken down. Oh, he's lost the ball. Oh, my far out, bro. You guys are actually scam, bro. You're actually scam. They're actually scam, bro. They just are. They actually are. It's amazing. It's amazing how you can win 66-0 and be in this kind of scrappy game the following week at home. It's amazing how you can beat the Tigers 52-10 and then lose by 13 plus the Rabbitohs the week after. And it's amazing you can beat the Titans by 50 and then you can go and lose by 20 plus the week after. It's actually insane what the Sharks team is. How the fuck do you go from last week in 66-0 against the Dolphins to this game here where you are losing on tries, mind you. You're knocking the ball on every set in the second half so far. I can't believe they're up 14-12 right now statistically. It's amazing. The team is amazingly scammed. There's a whole second half to go here, but it's actually infuriating to watch on a week-to-week basis because they do what they did last week, or they've done it multiple times this year, and then go and have games like this, and you're just like, what are we watching, dude? Like, credit to the Dragons, at least when they want to be shocking, they are shocking. When the Titans want to be shocking, they are shocking. This team doesn't know what they want, Cronulla. They don't know what they want. 4 tackle here at the 48. But also, Knights, you haven't been spectacular yourselves. And there's a knock-on from the Knights, and that proves everything you need to know. Well, I don't know how that's not called a knock-on from Ashley Klein. Well, 17-metre gain either way. Like, it's not been an unbelievably quality game here between 4th and 5th, and it tells you a lot. But, like, at the end of the day, Sharks, you should be far better than what we're seeing right now. You need to be far better than this. More talenting down to 15. So they go out to the right-hand side of Sione Katoa, and Katoa is going to get this ball here to the 30 on second tackle. And Kyle Iro to the 35 on third tackle. Dude, show us something here. How can you be this inconsistent? Like, I don't get how it's this possible. Blake Brayley with a nice run here. He'll get this ball to the 45 and fifth tackle. I just don't understand how it's this possible for you to be this inconsistent. Braden Trindle, he'll put that ball up high in the air. They're going to let this ball bounce. I'm sure they will. No, Kanaponga's going to catch it. It's a good catch, actually. And then, oh, wow. Britt Nakora Please. I hate this team, bro. I hate to watch them. I can't deal with them. I actually can't deal watching Cronulla Sharks team every week. It's actually abysmal. Britton Nakora has given away another penalty, and he's so infuriating this last year. I'm actually losing my mind watching Cronulla. They make me lose my mind. I almost want to put you on scam now, even if you win this game. It's actually infuriating to watch how inconsistent you are. It is actually insane. And the Knights, you are in the same boat, bro. You are in the exact same boat, Newcastle. But the thing is that we didn't have expectations for the Knights at the beginning of this year. But you are just not great as well. These two teams right now is infuriating to watch as we currently speak. Because I wouldn't even be surprised if the Knights knocked the ball on in this set as well. Hopefully they don't. Second tackle here at the 50. Second tackle at the 50, and Crossland gives it off to Dylan Brown. Brown across now to Frizzell, and Frizzell's going to beat the 43 on third tackle. I'm losing my mind watching this Sharks team. And again, the Knights aren't that great themselves. Fourth tackle here at the 30. Crossland to Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown, short ball to Manalua. Can he get the offload away? He can't. That'll be the 22 now on fifth tackle. Not professional athletes, I don't believe it. Highlands fan, they beat your team twice this year. And the Knights will offload the ball. Sharks get the ball at the 13. They're going to say play on here, and they'll be at the 20 now on first tackle. Pieces, how can either of these teams make the 8? Forget the 8, bro. This is a playing game for the top 4 right now. Probably the most angry you've ever been. No, mate. Not at all. Do you ever watch Titans games here on the channel? That's nowhere close to how angry I've been. 6 again here for the Sharks. What? That's not even in the top 50 of how angry I've been in games. You know this. I know you've watched Titans games. What are you talking about? Second tackle now at the 40. 32 minutes to go in this game. Not even close. Will Candy's going to be at the 30 on third tackle. Watch a Titans stream, man. You'll see a very different situation. Billy Burns will get this ball to the 20 now on fourth tackle. And they'll go to the right to Nico Hines. Hines short ball into the line for Britton Nicola. And they'll be... Jeez, third man in there. Fifth tackle now. 53-minute gain. At least they've made some good meters there. Nico Hines to Braden Trindle. Trindle over the top of Molitalo. That's a great pass from Trindle. That's a gorgeous pass. That's a brilliant pass there. Ronaldo Molitalo will score. Braden Trindle, that pass was spectacular. And that's what Braden Trindle did last week. No arrow. Oh, did he not do an arrow, did he? Oh, damn it. You would have liked to have seen him do an arrow, but all I know is do not troll the Titans on this channel. Well, that is correct, Ewe, because if we're going to shit on them, I'll do that myself. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Usually, when people can shit on the Titans within reason, is if we're getting blown out in the last 20 minutes of a game, and it's just like, oh, I completely understand it. But, like, I'll do the rinsing of the Titans myself, mate. You don't need to step in for that one. Yeah, I don't like that Mortalo hasn't done the arrow celebration there, because everybody else does. Everybody else does. Max Harris is listening from Beijing, can't stream here. Yeah, no. I was actually, so I'm in Kazakhstan right now, Max. But I was originally in Vietnam, and I was going to go to China, but obviously YouTube you can't do that, so you have to go on a VPN and all that kind of jazz. Because YouTube doesn't even, you're not allowed to go on YouTube there. So that's why I didn't go there, because I can't stream the games. I'd have to go through a VPN, and that causes problems and shit. So that's why I went to Kazakhstan. And I don't regret it, man. I love this country at the moment. 30 minutes to go here to game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. But get around to all the way in Beijing. Say hello to Jay to us. As who says, Trent will have another legacy game. No, he is not. One pass does not make it a legacy game. But it was a great pass. It was a great try assist. Nico Hines is a big kick to make it an 8-point game, by the way. Nico Hines, he will make it an 8-point game. I tell you what, Newcastle, you're down by over a try now. Now, granted, the Knights have scored 3 tries to 3, but you're down by over a try because you've missed all 3 of your conversions. VPN not working to go on KO. Well, how are you watching this stream? Because I feel like, I swear that in China you can't even access YouTube, correct? Aren't you needing to go on a VPN? KO does catch you on VPNs a lot recently. When I was in Fiji, I had to go through a VPN for KO, but I have watchnrl.com. which costs $40 a month. If you're just there for like a week or two, it doesn't. Maybe 2 weeks, it makes sense. But if you're there for a month or longer, then watchnrl.com is the one for you. But yeah, it is $40 a month or whatever I pay. Good evening, mate. Get on your short note. Patricia says, it's the new ref doing the next game. God help us if he is. Surely he's not getting a main game on a Friday night. Oh, YouTube and Instagram all work. No VPN. Fair enough. Didn't even know that. I thought... Or maybe I can stream in China then. Maybe. Mr. Sundo told me that needed a VPN when he was there recently. And they go to the left-hand side to Will Kennedy, and Kennedy is going to be at the 45 on the Knights side of the field. Be careful, Knights. They're a very good second-half team. But a 17-metre gain for the Knights, followed by 2 sets now of 51 metres and a try, and then a 45-metre gain there is worrying signs. Greggy Martiu gets it, and he'll be taken down here at the 15 on first tackle. KS says, put Braden Trindle in any other team. He'll be a top 5 halfback and 5'8", to be honest. Halfback, I'll disagree. 5'8", I might agree, yeah. Trindle can be inconsistent too, but I would say 5'8", I'll agree with you. I just don't know if he's... I don't know about the 7, though. But 5'8", I'll agree, yeah. I don't mind it, though. But also, Kaya, I know you're a Sharks fan. Are you now saying that you don't rate this Sharks team by saying that? Or are you trying to say that because he plays for the Sharks, he doesn't get regarded that way? I don't necessarily agree with that notion if that's what you're saying. And they're going to get this ball here. Will Kennedy. He'll get this ball now to the 20. Great running from Will Kennedy. It's a good run from me. He's been pretty good here today besides that knock-on, but it should have been a high tackle that led to the Knights' try. But Kennedy, usually when he's having a good game, the Sharkies will win. That's probably a high tackle there. Second tackle at the 28, they don't call it. Peter says, Knights will win, but just how are the 4th and 5th on the ladder? Night good. Enjoying your channel, bro. Go Titans. Get around. You get on the Titans in 1 second here. Sharkies are away on this right wing. They're away. Mori Hiroti, who's going to the Titans next year, mind you. Look at the post-contact here. He just made 20 metres post-contact, Hiroti. Third tackle for the Sharks. The game's toning, guys. Knights, this is worrying. 4th tackle at the 40. The Sharks are running all over the top of them in the middle. Yeah, go Titans, Peter. I don't understand how the Knights are up here. I can see the inconsistency of why the Sharks are up here, but my gosh, dude, they're so infuriating to watch. They are infuriating to watch. 62-metre gain there for the Sharks. Good kick through, good chase through. Kanaponga gets it, bubbles it, but he does come down with it. First tackle at the 5. Don't forget, guys, we've got Storm versus the Roosters right after this. That's an amazing tackle there from Ronaldo Mulitalo on Dom Young. He's owned Dom Young today. He's been really good on Dom Young. And he's going to make another tackle in Mulitalo. Wow, third tackle at the 15. This is good from Mulitalo. Scored the last try. Look at the lacking metres the Knights are getting here. The Sharkies are running rampant in the middle of the field right now, making 47-metre gain, 60-metre gain, 50-plus metre gain. That's perfect. That's fantastic. That's perfect and fantastic. No, perfect, fantastic, perfect. And then the Knights are going to go have a 17-metre gain and a 22-metre gain. The Sharks are dominating the middle at the moment. Ever since we had our real blow-up in terms of this team is so frustrating to watch, they've gone and turned it around, which is what the Sharks do. Because when they're shit hot, they are red hot, man. When they click on, they are honestly the best team to watch in the competition. When they click, they are the best team to watch in the comp like they were last week. And like they've been in certain games this year. It's just about their consistency. That is the issue. And the Sharks right now, they're making plenty of meters and they're showing their second half that they do quite regularly. But the reason we blow up at them is because we see this shit so regularly where they lose the following week and they show the inconsistency. Great running from Tuka Hautapua. I don't even know what we're talking about. A naked mole rat there at the bunnies. Sure, you're all over the place. Fit tackle and Britton Nakora is going to be the 24. They go to the right. Nico Hines. He'll put that ball up here. Siena Katoa chasing it through, but Ponga gets it and takes it down here at the 7. Ponga's been pretty strong today. Well, he's been very strong under the high ball. Greggy Martiu gets his ball to the 12. You need to make some meters here, Knights. You're getting just swamped in your own end. Swamped in your own end. Nate says, Jazz, the Wawas cry every week, buddy. You cry like a bunch of... What's happening here? What's Jazz said to elicit this response? Well, Jazz says, Wawas. Nate, you sound a bit soft. I've missed out where this has all started, but Nathan and Jazz having a crack at each other here. To be fair, Warriors and Dragons play each other. Nathan's a Dragons fan. Jazz is a Warriors fan. So I do fully expect it this week. But obviously, keep it respectful in regards to the banter, guys. I don't know how it's going there. I've been focused in regards to the game. Dylan Brown is going to kick this ball away. from the 30. It was, again, only about a 20-metre gain there for the Knights. And now Will Kennedy is going to get this ball into the attack, into the 44 on his own side of the field on first tackle. They're already in good field position. The Knights are going to wake up here defensively, bro. They've got to keep this. Second half run meters, 337 for the Sharks, 157 for the Knights. That is a massive 100-metre switch already, and the Sharks have the ball right now. Is the Sharks outside back going to be a good signing for the Titans? Moini Hiroti? We'll see. I'm excited to see what happens. This is a lethargic set for the Sharks, and they're still already at the 30. It's a 30-metre gain already, and it's not even been that great of a set. Teague Wilson now will get this ball to the 20 on fit tackle. So an underwhelming set here from the Sharks, and yet it's still going to be a 49-metre gain. This is what I'm saying. Sharks hit this ball up. Mulatalo coming through. There might be a penalty here. There is a penalty to the Sharks. It's the right call. Mulatalo's owned Dom Young all day today. He has. Jazz and Nate, tomorrow will be the day you guys can punch on with each other. Tomorrow will be the day. Baycliffe says, come on, Knights, get a try. It doesn't look likely right now, man. The Sharks are all over the top of them. They've really clicked into gear. Yeah, Dom Young and Dane Gagai just sandwiched him. I think that's on Dom Young, not Dane Gagai, though. Keep it civil, Nathan Jazz. Internet warrior is not a good look. Yeah, you can punch some with each other tomorrow. First tackle here at the 5. Blake Brayley out to Nico Hines. Hines then to Moini Hiroti. He'll be 5 metres out. Second tackle. Blake Brayley. They give it out to Trendall. Here's a try coming up. Oh, Iro. Wow, how did he not knock that ball on? If that had gone to hands perfectly, I think that would have been a try. They go to Tukahau Tapua. He's a big boy. Where are you going to go? Open side Katoa way or back to Mulatalo's side? They will go open side Katoa way. Hines, Kennedy, quick passing. It's fit tackle here, dude. It's fit tackle. What the hell? Oh, it's 4 tackles. Sorry, that's my bad. I thought that was 5th. Now it's 5th at the 10. Nico Hines. That's going to be... Oh, that's a knock on. That's bad. That's bad. Harrison Graham now having a little bit of a push and shove with Nico. That's probably kept them in the game here, the Knights, because they're just getting done over. They need this momentum shifter. They need a massive momentum shifter right now. And that's a good way through it. It's a good way through it. Hey, by the way, hey, Ziggy, are you still watching? What's Dylan Lucas on right now? What score is he on? Because I don't feel like he's done much besides that try. Joe Chance says, come on, Sharks. Well, they're up by 8 with 22 minutes to go to game. They just got to finish this one off really right now. Harrison Graham with the 40. It's 3 tries apiece, but the Knights have missed all 3 of their conversions. They would be down 20-18 regardless, but it would be a whole different contextual game if they'd gotten at least one of their conversions. It'd be a 1-score game. But now it's a 2-score game because they've missed all 3 of their conversions. He's on 76, fair enough. I can't believe it. He hasn't really done much besides that real lucky try that he got on top of. They'll kick this ball through. That's going to be allowed to bounce here from the Sharks. And that's going to be Sharks now who get the ball at the 25. Braden Trindall's having a really good second half in comparison to the first half. Mulatalo takes it out of the 30 on second tackle. Now, Knights, just don't give away a penalty, man. That's where you are really losing this second half. Like, the knock-ons haven't been too bad. It's been more so the penalties that have just crushed them in this game. Mulatalo is Dom Young's dad. Today, so far, he has been. Sione Katoa, but it will come back to bite him. Like, Mulatalo is very, very loud when he does stuff like this and has good gains, but he's very quiet when he went up against the Roosters a few weeks back. Very, very quiet. I think it was Nwanatawase he was going up against, and Nwanatawase slapped him. Ponga! He knocks that ball. Oh, he caught it again. He's actually been really good under the high ball. He bubbled it, but he still brought it in. He still brought it in. Okay, Nathan Jazz, time to move on now, guys. I'll call it quits there, right? Time to move on now. You guys can slap into each other and laugh at each other's expense tomorrow. Oh, there's the knock-on from the Knights. And there it is. Trindall gives it off, and it's going to be Kyle Iro, and Iro is going to bring this ball to the 30 on 0 tackle. 20 minutes to go here to game, folks. Thumbs up, subscribe. Braden Trindall. Don't forget, we've got Storm Roosters right after this, and that's a big game for the Roosters to keep a chance at that minor premiership. The Sharks are keeping themselves in a chance at the minor premiership right now, and Roosters and And Storm, that's a big one because the Storm are desperate to make the 8, but also they've got no Munster and Jerome Hughes, so I don't know how they're going to go tonight. And Trindle. And now Billy Burns, he'll be 5 metres away from the line, 3rd tackle. Blake Brayley. Oh, jeez, that was weird. Trindle didn't think that ball was coming to him, but in the end he gets it. Will Candy runs onto this one strongly, and he's going to be 4 metres away from the line. 4 metres away. Will Candy, he's going to roll it back. Blake Brayley goes open side to Braden Trindle. Britton Nakora, bro. I got to be honest with you. Oh, he caught it! I was about to rip into him too. I was about to rip into him. But it will be a dropout from the Knights. Good kick there from Trindle. I was about to light up Britton Nakora, bro. I was about to light that man up, son. So I am very, very glad. I am very, very glad that he didn't knock that ball on there. But it will be a dropout from the Knights, and I'm sure they'll go for the shorty here. I'm sure they will go for the old shorty. And they do, but it's going to go to around the 15. It's actually a really good kick. Candy's knocked the ball on. I think that's a knock on Sharkies. Oh, no, it's knock on Knights, apparently. I think this is knock on Knights. Yeah, it's a Newcastle knock on. Sharks get the ball. Selwyn says, bro, keep updating your subscribers. Good job. Appreciate Selwyn. Yeah, this doesn't update live a lot of the time. Sometimes people have public subscriptions which will update live. But I'll refresh it and whatnot after the stream finishes. Sometimes YouTube doesn't do it live over there. Appreciate for tuning in, Selwyn. Yeah, it's a knock on here from the night. Knocked back from Dane Gagai, and it's not going to be touched by Will Candy. Yeah. Oh, wait, did they say touch this? Yeah, they're saying no touch from Will Candy. So this is knocked back here from Dane Gagai, but the Knights knock it on at their own 5. Azu says they're putting Knights the potential fraud alert or not. Hi, Azu. Have you looked at the screen so far? Have you looked at the screen? That's just a knock. That's just a drop ball there from Harrison Graham. Does it go forward here, though, from Harrison Graham? They do typically call these as knock-ons, though. Oh, well, it's a knock-on from Nico. Yeah, it's going to be a knock-on from Nico Hines. Successful challenge. Good challenge. So, successful challenge there, and the Knights will receive the ball to 10. Kaya says, Britton Nakora, show them why you play for Queensland. We haven't seen it for a year, Kyle. We haven't seen it for a whole year. Jake says, I would say I'm disappointed, but the only time I'm confident in the Knights is when they play a bottom 4 team. They usually are the bottom 4 team. Not this year, obviously. Funny. Jazz, I've got a Waz logo saved, and if we lose, I'll change my YouTube picture to the Waz. Yeah, you guys can have a bet in the chat. You guys can have a cheeky little logo bet in the chat. How the Knights in 5th when they play with these bait clips, it's amazing, but knock on Brabham Best. Oh, no, I'm not watching it. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose it. Bro, don't argue with me in terms of a fraud alert over there with the Knights. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. Don't do it. This team is all so infuriating. My gosh. Oh my goodness me. They are so infuriating. Both of these teams are, but at least the Sharks, they are going to win this one, you would assume. But still, if they score this try here and make it 14 points, it's a big game. But for the time being, still only 8 points. But Knights haven't even looked anywhere close to likely in the second half. Ashley Klein having a great game. Yeah, I would say so, yeah. I think there was a high tackle Will Kennedy should have been called for in regards to the Sharks. That's a penalty to the Sharks for a high hit. And there's mitigation, so it's fine. But a penalty. When they scored their first try, the Knights, it shouldn't have been because... Don't go for the 2 here, Sharks. You're up by 8. There's no point. Okay, Blake Brayley taps it. Good at the 20. Nico Hines, then off to Herbert Peru, and he'll get the ball to the 13. The first try, there should have been a high tackle from the Knights against Will Candy, who ended up dropping the ball, and then the Knights scored a try for that. That's kind of my only biggest gripe in this game from Ashley Klein. That's probably it. Blake Brayley and Nico Hines. I don't think that he's had a bad game. In Nikora, that's going to... Oh, he actually infuriates the living shit out of me. Britton Nikora has knocked this ball on again, bro. I can't deal with him, man. Sharks fans, how do you deal with this man? I'm not a Sharks fan, and I lose my mind. This guy has given away like 3 knock-ons in this game and a penalty. It's definitely a knock-on. I just can't. I can't with him. I can't because we know how good he can be. We know how good he can be. But he isn't this last year. That's why we extended Billy Burns. Chuck Billy Burns back into the start and get Nikora onto the bench. He needs to learn. I was surprised he even made Origin, but he made Origin on name alone. It wasn't on form. It wasn't on form. This Sharks team can be so unbelievable what they can do this shit too, but at least they're probably going to win this game because the team they got up against are making an absolute mess of trying to do it themselves, but also the Sharks haven't been bad today. They're just so frustrating to watch, and I know the Sharks fans know exactly where I'm coming from. And there's a bit of rain coming down now. Bit of rain, little bit of rain that you can see in the air. Kalen Ponga to the right-hand side. He'll get taken down. Gets the offload away, Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown will be at the 45 on fit tackle. Fit tackle. 15 minutes left. Vonnie Hunter says bin Nikora. So it's gonna. We know how good he can be though. Like he's been an international. Oh, that's gonna go 7 tackle set, isn't it? Oh, that's a good kick. It's a good kick. Trindle gets back. Oh, that was actually a really weird one. This is going to be a dropout from the Sharks. Braden Trindle saves the day there. He'll be man of the match again if the Sharks win this game. Sharks always make good plays and fumble and lose momentum. Don't disagree with that at all. Which is what you're seeing right now. Dylan Brown, after Britton Nikora knocks the ball on, they've gone the 100 metres up the other end of the field, and now they've got a dropout. Now the momentum's with the Knights. Prime example. I don't think Nikora hasn't played well since Sean Johnson was at the Sharks. Oh, they're going for a little droppy there. That was weird. Anyway, that's going to be Dylan Lucas taking it out of the 10 on first tackle. 10 metres out. They roll out to the right. I don't know if I'd go that far back, but at least a year... No, prior to, I think, his suspension midway through last year, he was good still. After that, Billy Burns dominated him for mine. And I think Sharks fans would agree. Third tackle now for the Knights, 8 metres away. They go to the right-hand side. Dylan Brown, Kalen Ponga. Kalen Ponga gets this ball across into Dom Young. Dom Young. Jeez, Mortalo has owned him on this right wing today. Fourth tackle now for Dom Young at the 5. Dane Gagai, Kalen Ponga. Ponga double pumps it off to Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown now at the back, down to Fletcher Sharp. Sharp gets it off into Bradman Best. Bradman Best! Great defense from the Sharks. That's passed off the ground. That's a penalty to the Sharks. That should be... Yeah, it's going to be Cronulla ball at 10, but I think that should be a penalty to the Sharks because he's passed that ball off the ground because he knows he's going over the sideline. I don't agree with this call of being a knock-on, but it should. He's on the ground there, and then he's passed it. How is that not a pass off of the ground? And the flag was raised anyway, but also... What are you challenging here, Newcastle? What are you challenging? Like, no matter what here, Bradman Best throws... He's not allowed to pass that ball. It's a penalty. But it's a penalty. No, it's not play on. He's passed the ball off of the ground. The ball carrying arm was on hit the ground. How is it play on? How is it play on here? How is it play on? How is that play on when his arm is on the ground? How are you allowed to pass this ball here? That's insane. How can you say that's okay? Momentum hasn't stopped. His arm is on the ground, Jason. What do you mean momentum hasn't stopped? His arm is on the ground. You can't pass the ball from the ground. How is this Knights ball here back at the previous play the ball? That's insane. It has nothing to do with momentum. Momentum has absolutely jack shit. His arm is on the ground and he has passed the ball off of the ground whilst the tacklers are on top of him. That is insane. It has nothing to do with him going over the sideline. Fit tackle here at the 20. That is insane. Fletcher Sharp, they kick this ball down into the corner, and that's going to be 7 tackle set. Ball don't lie. Ball don't lie. That's insane. But he's starting to pour down rain now. That's just incredible. That's incredible what we've just seen. Justin Human says the weird and wild world of the bunker. How have they not called that? They've said it's fine. It does. They're still moving. Momentum has nothing to do if your arm is on the ground. You cannot pass the ball off of the ground in the tackle. Momentum has nothing to do with it. If your arm is touching the ground and then you proceed to pass the ball during the tackle on the ground, that is a penalty. It has been a penalty for like 40, 50, 100 years. I don't know what you're talking about. Momentum has nothing to do with it. His arm is on the ground and he has proceeded to pass it. Fuck the momentum. Momentum has nothing to do with any part of this conversation. He is on the ground. What are you talking about? Will Kennedy's now at the 22. You either don't know what you're talking about or you're deliberately playing dumb, or maybe it is just dumb because that doesn't make sense what you're talking about. And Ponga's going to catch this ball at the 5 on first tackle. Place is right. Look at the rule book. It's not rocket science, man. It's one of the core pillars of what this game has been for 100 years. Like 100 years, that's been a penalty. And now it's going to be third tackle here. It used to be far worse, actually, back in the day. Far worse. That call, same as the Marnie, just allowed to try with momentum. Momentum's got nothing to do with anything. What are we doing? What are you talking about? Please, guys, you're not this ridiculous. You're not. Momentum's got nothing to do with anything. So the Knights get a 20-metre gain here at the 25. And they'll kick this ball down to the Sharkies at the 30, whereas Will Kennedy now is going to bring this ball out to the 40, now to the 45, and Will Kennedy's away. Will Kennedy's right through the line here, right through the line. No one followed him up, though. That's pretty lazy there from Monty Hirotti. Not Monty Hirotti, sorry, Kyle Iro. Now it's Molitano with the ball at 35, now the 30. Muppets right now. I feel like people aren't understanding what we're actually talking about. Hey guys, I think when I bring up momentum, everyone starts saying it because it has nothing to... What does momentum even have anything to do with the tackle there? Oh my gosh. It had nothing to do with anything. 4th tackler at the 18. You guys are up your rocker. They'll go to the left-hand side to Adam Fanor-Blake, and Fanor-Blake now is going to be 10 metres out, looking for an offload. It'll be fit tackle now. If the Sharks score here, it'll be game. If the Sharks score here, it should be game. Blake Bradley goes short side, left side, Braden Trendle. Trendle underneath the Kale Ero. It's fit tackle. I don't know what they're doing. And it's going to be Knights ball at the 5. 10 minutes to go to game here, folks. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here so we can get some momentum towards 50,000. Bloody unbelievable momentum, for gosh sake. Momentum. Gee whiz. And then, Jason, you tried to double down on it? Oh, Jason, come on, man. Not only that, people then started backing that. Like, oh my gosh. Tackling at the 22 for the Knights. And now they'll be at the 30 on 4 tackle. They're not making many meters. Peter says, thanks, Sharkies, you've made my night. Well, they haven't won it yet. Fit tackle now at the 42. How did the bunker not know the rules? It's actually insane. But, I wouldn't be surprised if someone came out and said, oh, well, they're not allowed to rule on this. The Knights actually might score here. Manalua. Oh! Has he scored this or no? Oh, he has scored this in the corner. What just happened just now? What just happened just now? Manalua just, I think, scored in the corner. This just comes out of absolutely nowhere. So the Knights are going to kick this ball up here. And that will get caught by Dane Gagai. That was lazy from Molitalo. And the Manalua, Nico Hines comes through really nicely. Could tell, has he lost that ball there? Oh, he does get the ball down there. That's fine. But does his legs go out? We need to have a look at a few things here. Sideline as well. Did he lose the ball before he put it down? Molitalo, that was lazy. Dane Gagai catches it clean. Manalua then gets past Will Kennedy. Nico Hines does well to get across. He makes the tackle. It's going to be no try. Yep. Bunker's coming in here. You're lucky, Sharks. Jimma. So 1 second. I'll read that comment. So that's funny, Jimma. So 1 second. Manalua, I think he's knocked the ball on here. I did see a little bit of a bubble. He's lost the ball there. Yeah, his arm comes away from the ball to knock on. You get lucky, Shaggies. You get very lucky there. Jimmy Masters, what's the more ridiculous comment? The momentum one or Gremlin is the best player in the wet? So for people who don't know, Gremlin is Adam Reynolds. Before the Broncos game, so it's a no try, by the way, Sharks bought the 10. So before the Broncos versus Panthers game last night, we had someone come in telling us that Adam Reynolds is the best player of all best player in a game in the wet weather. And I said, that's the craziest comment I've ever heard. Anyway, I got called an extremist for saying that and for how he was wrong and all that type of stuff. Anyway, Reynolds proceeded to have the worst game of his life last night. He had nothing to do with the Broncos winning that game. It was just awful. The Broncos are their team. He was not. So that's what he's referring to there. I would still say... No, that one's still worse than the momentum one, but the momentum thing just had nothing to do with it. Oh my gosh, Jason, no, please. Jason, I'm begging, bro. I'm begging, please. I need you to go to Uncle Google, mate. I need you to go to Uncle Google because you are so incorrect, man. You are so incorrect in what you're saying, Jason. Please go to Uncle Google and learn what you're talking about because that is so incorrect. Momentum has nothing to do with it. You cannot pass the ball once you are on the ground. It is not possible. If your arm is touching the ground, it is a penalty. I don't even know why you're now tripling down on it, Jason. I don't know if you're being deliberately stupid and you're just trying to troll or if you need to actually go into Google and see this. I actually don't even I don't know. Jason, if you actually believe this, you're stupid. I'm sorry. If you actually believe what you're saying right now, I've got to be honest with you. I'm not even going to defend it. You're stupid. Otherwise, please go to Google. So it's third tackle here at the 40. If you don't know about it, but you're just trying to triple down it because you feel embarrassed from the original one, you don't need to do that. But you are blatantly incorrect right now. So it's third tackle for the Knights. A good offload away. And Knights are now beat the 45 on fourth tackle. That's the last I'm going to deal with that one, Jason. I'm going to direct you to Google for the rest of it. So fourth tackle now at the 45. They're going to go to the left-hand side. Off to Fletcher Sharp to Cannon Ponga. Ponga's going to go right through. They're taken down to the 35. Big tackle. Fans Crossland to Dylan Brown, and Dylan Brown's going to put that ball up. 56-minute game for the Knights is pretty good. I don't know where Will Candy is. Oh, Bradman Best so close. Bradman Best so close. So close. But it will be a knock-on there from the Knights, and Sharks get the ball at 10. Storm prediction, margin, Clint says, I'm going Roosters 13 plus. Like Munster and Jerome Hughes out is so big, man. But the Roosters are also a worrying team in terms of consistency, but I'll take the Roosters 13 plus. 7 minutes to go here to game. 7 minutes to go here to game. I just don't understand why. Anyway, we're going to move on from it. I just don't understand why you would triple down on it when it's not the truth. Third tackle now at the 30. It's always been a rule. I just would not be surprised if someone came through and said the bunker is not allowed to rule on that or something like that, which would be even more ridiculous. But you hear that a lot nowadays. Like the bunker can't rule on a play the ball from previously and all this sort of stuff. So fourth tackle now at the 50. No, fifth tackle at the 50 and Braden Trindle now. But he says first half Roosters 1-8. Maybe. Again, Munster is out and so is Jerome Hughes. Everyone says Knights will be kicking themselves. This game was theirs for the taking. Well, yeah, they went over the line. They unfortunately knocked it on. There was a try chance for Bradman Best just now. Like, there's been a couple of instances here for the Knights where they could have absolutely won it, and they've scored the same amount of tries as the Sharks. Again, they would have still been down by 2, but the whole game has changed if it's a 2-point game. And Callum Ponga is now going to be at the 40 on 4 tackle. 6 minutes to go here of the game. If the Knights can score in the next couple of sets, like they've still got a chance. Offloads at 4 tackle. Trey Mooney. And Trey Mooney's now going to be at the 40. On 5th tackle, they go to Fletcher Sharp. Need a good chase. Will Candy has looked really strange defensively as fullback in... Oh my gosh, he might get taken in the in-goal here. Will Candy is... He actually had a pretty good game for 70 minutes. These last, 5-10 minutes has been really poor from him. His defensive positioning right now has been all over the place. Jay Ross is more commentary, less blow-ups. How about this one, Jay Ross? We do whatever the hell we want to do over here, man. So you come for the stats, stay with the rants. Like, we will rant, brother. We will rant. But there is 5 minutes to go here at a game. That's what we do here on this channel. You should see a Titans game. Short kick from the Sharks is crazy, and they're going to come up with it. That is ballsy from Cronulla, and they've decided, and Adam Fiddle-Blake's going to bring the sport to the 23 on first tackle. So the Sharks have gone for a short drop out there. Tom Young, stop it. Blake Brayley is intentionally trying to draw a penalty here. Biffo, throw an uppercut, you cats. Throw an uppercut, you cats. There's a Biffo going on. Give him a headbutt. Jay Ross, man, we do rants and blow-ups all the time, mate. Don't you worry. And also, this blow-up and rant is about the game. What are you talking about? People are off their chops today. 4.5 minutes to go here in this game. And then in 15 minutes' time, this has actually been a quick game. This will finish with like 15 minutes to spare before the next game starts. So Blake Brayley pushes him initially, but there's nothing of a penalty. Wow, they're actually going to penalise the Sharks for this. That's soft. That's actually soft as. I would actually consider the 2 here. Make it 20-14, then you're only going to get a converted try. I'd consider it. It's risky, though. Oh, no, you wouldn't, because you've missed all 3 of your kicks today. Go for the try, Knights. Go for the try. Dom was smart. No, I had nothing. Dom didn't do anything there, man. That was Blake Brayley. What do you mean Dom was smart? First tackle for the Knights at the 15. Seen better fights in preschool. You don't see fights anymore, man, because it's against the rules. Jason probably defend it, but he'd probably say fights are illegal. You can throw headbutts and it's fine. Second tackle at the 8. They go to Butcher Sharp at the Dylan Brown. Dylan Brown at the back now. Trey Mooney. There's a knock on. Yep, there's a knock on. Trey Mooney. That's the game. No, Jay Leishman, you haven't. I put $5,000 in Melbourne to win. You put $5,000 on Melbourne to win by 138 points? I don't believe you. There's no way. You put $5,000 in Storm to win without Munster and Hughes? I don't know. Like, you might be wealthy, bro. So, like, if that's like a $50 bet to you, $100 bet to you, fair call. That's like, it's fine. But if you've put like a large chunk of your money on a team without Munster and Hughes, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. Now go to the right. Especially when it's at Allianz as well, not at Amy Park. So first tackle now for the Shaggy Sharks at the 22. Everyone says, Knights being their own worst enemy as usual. Yeah, I would agree with that. By the way, Knights, there is not a chance of you dropping out of the 8 this week. But you need the Cowboys to win tomorrow or Sunday, sorry. You need the Cowboys to win. If the Dolphins win, they'll go above you. Who's the other team? Rabbitohs. If the Rabbitohs beat the Raiders, they'll go above you. So you are a likely chance of 7th this round. If you believe the Dolphins win and the Rabbitohs win, then the Knights will go 7th. It's about the team. Sure, but what has given you belief in terms of the Melbourne Storm to win this game against the Roosters? I'd argue it in terms of maybe like, it may be of like the Storm, the Roosters being consistent, but like Storm-wise, they nearly lost the Titans last week at home, and they controversially won against the Titans at home last week. They've gone through major losses this year. They're also in 10th compared to the Roosters who are in 3rd. Like, I don't know what you're talking about in regards to the team. But sure, like, good luck. Like, good luck. Sounds like an AFL bet, not NRL. I've never seen that line before. Yeah, the 1-38 it's usually 1-39 in AFL, but you're right. Callum Ponga's going to be at the 35 on fifth tackle. 2 minutes to go here in this game, folks. 20-12 to the Sharkies. That's money down the toilet, Jim says. We've already had someone put $5,000. Oh, no, you know what? I think Jay Leishman's lying. That's a knock on even the Sharkies. Nice chance. Craigie Matthew. Try time for the Knights. There's a chance here. For the Knights. There's a chance here for the Knights. Oh, no. Oh, no, Sharks. You're not going to do it. The Knights have scored out of nowhere. It's 2016 with a kid to come. Knights, you're probably going to lose this game today based off of not making your conversions. This is exactly what they did last week, Jake. This is exactly what they did against the Rabbitohs. Exactly what they did. That was momentum. Sean. The try Greg Marcius just scored. That is momentum. Correct. Well done. We've figured out what momentum is today, folks. Kalen Ponga, I beg you get this kick. I beg you get this kick. Please, Ponga, don't make it 0 from 4. It's not the easiest kick at all. It's on the left-hand wing. You'd like to know that he doesn't go 0 from 4, though, and he will go and get the kick. So it will be a 2-point game, 20-18 with a minute and a half to go. Knights, you've got one set here, folks. One set. So this is Peter, or you're on track. Peter says, do you think that either the Tigers or the Dolphins can win another game? Let's just get through this game, please. 1 second. Ask me that question in the next stream, man. What are we doing? Anyway, 1 minute 20 to go here to game. It's 20-18 to the Sharkies. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. 15 minutes to go until we go live for the Storm versus the Roosters. But the Knights are going to get one full set here to try and finish this game off. And they should have put the game away long ago. It's 4 tries to the Knights, 3 tries to the Sharks. But if you've just tuned in, the Knights missed their first 3 conversions. Should have been 24-20. And the Knights now, Trey Mooney brings this ball to the 13. Just don't give away a penalty or a 6 again here, Sharks, and you'll get this one done. Tiger Hood with the $5 redo donation says, yes, hit my multi. Thanks, Ponga. Get around your Tiger Hood. Thanks for the dono, bro. Nice left-hand side. Ponga. Taking out the 15 on second tackle. 1 minute to go here of the game. 1 minute to go here of the game. Who else grabbed it several times for a try earlier this year? That was Jai Gray, but it was a no try. That was a couple of weeks ago for the Rabbitohs. Maybe 2-3 weeks ago. But it's a no try at half time. Deanna Brown to the right hand side. Dane Gagai. Taking down to the 33 on 4 tackle. You need to get something done here. 4 tackle at 33. Again, Kalen Ponga. 2 plays left here for the Knights. He will kick this ball through here. Oh my gosh. They're going to kick the... Oh, dude. There was actually a chance. For the Knights, but that's game. The Sharks will get the ball to 28. Sharks, you are so lucky you're not on scam right now. But the Sharkies will win. As long as they don't knock the ball on here, they will win. They gave it a crack, man. They did. They gave it a crack, the Knights. You absolutely are on fraud alert. You absolutely are on fraud. And you're staying there from last week. But wow, you should have won this game. But this is what the Knights do. This is what Newcastle do. And the Sharks, it's their first time after scoring 50 points this year. They've won. In the first game against the Titans, they scored 50. They lost the following week, 26-6 to the Panthers. The next one, they beat the Tigers 52-10. The following week, they lost to the Rabbitohs by 36 points to 10 or whatever it was. Last week, they won 66-0. This week, they'll win 20-18. So it's the first time this year they've gone and got a win afterwards. They're now 7 from their last 8 games with a win, the Sharks. They're in 3rd position right now, mind you, as well. Third position. Their run home is not that difficult. Their run home is Manly, Rabbitohs, Dragons, Raiders, Titans, Eels, and Storm. This team, oh, dude, they're so frustrating to watch, man. They're so infuriating to watch. But this team should be bolted on for a top 4 spot. With their run home, they should be bolted on for a top 4 spot. I think Braden Trindle probably gets the man of the match for this game for the Sharkies. Callum Ponga probably would have got it for the Knights if they had have won. And Knights, you got some soul searching to do, man. Like, you've had wins recently, but it just hasn't been great wins. But you take the 2 points. Now you've gone and lost 2 straight games to the Rabbitohs and the Sharks. Mind you, the Knights were in about 11th or 12th last year until the second half of the season, where they just absolutely fell off a cliff and came last. And they didn't win a game for the entire second half of the season last year. I'm a little bit concerned about that. You still need to win 2 more games to get into the top 8. You still need 2 more games. You do have the Roosters at home, the Broncos away, the Raiders away, the Titans at home, Manly at home, and the Warriors away. It's tricky. The Warriors are tough. The Roosters are tough, and the Sharks obviously lost here today. Broncos away are tricky. Raiders are going to be tricky because they're fighting for a top 8 spot. Titans are always a tricky game for you. You probably should win that game, but they're always a tricky game for the Knights. It's usually quite 50-50. The Titans had beat you at Newcastle last year, and then also the Manly game, which is tricky. So it's not a guarantee, but like Knights, you've just got to do some soul searching in regards to what this team is, because you've been all over the shop recently. But anyway, guys, we're going to jump off. We'll see you. Mitchell says Knights, one of the most useless team I've ever supported. At least you've had some false hope in the last couple of minutes of games against the Rabbitohs and now against the Sharkies. But, guys, we'll see you in 5 minutes' time for the final game of the day, which is going to be Storm versus the Roosters. A big game there for the Storm. They need to win. They just need to win to keep their top 8 chances alive, whilst the Roosters, they've got a chance in a minor premiership right now. They've dropped down to 4th because the Sharks won it today. One, they need to go back into 3rd. They also have a chance to go 2nd but they also have a chance to go one win within the Panthers, and they still play the Panthers later on this season. So the Roosters still a chance in that minor premiership after the Panthers lost last night, and 3 out of their last 4 games being a loss. So a huge game in the next one. So we'll see you there in 5 minutes' time. Do me a favour, hit that like button, subscribe for new round tier. Appreciate you all for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya. And Sharks, you're so close to being on scam, I tell ya. You're so close.